goal was to let the fans really know what the motorsports world is all about. And that's why we've created eRacing.
eRacing is the most realistic simulation game I've ever seen in my life.
It's the most realistic simulator I've ever done in racing.
eRacing is the only one that really comes close to the real experience.
To get started, the first thing we'll do is help you build the profile to truly feel like a pro.
To do this, we need your name, a major credit card, and of course to know what part of Brazil you're from. Now if you're worried about how much this is going to cost, don't worry. We have several payment plans.
If you feel the upfront costs are too high, we can actually just hide it in an overcharged damage bill later. Or if you prefer, we can share costs and we'll split the bill with the co-driver. We just won't tell you how bad they are.
Still not what you're looking for? Don't worry. We have the test driver plan. You don't actually get to race, but you get to take a lot of cool photos and your Instagram fans are gonna love it. As a driver, I wanted to make sure that eRacing provided a completely immersive simulation. There are plenty of other simulators out there that'll talk about their tire model or their physics, but is that really the entire experience? That's why, with eRacing, we make sure that every time you crash, you have to ride in the tow truck all the way back to the garage.
Man, I don't even know what you were thinking.
Sure, some games have a reset button, but what if you had to look your crew in the eye and tell them they're not going to sleep tonight because of something you did?
As a team owner, what I want to do is have some of the people feel the pressure of what the guys feel behind the scenes when the kids make mistakes out on the track.
Well, thanks a lot, now we're going to be here all night. In case you didn't know, we all know how to weld already.
And the features don't just stop there. eRacing has actually contracted real-life engineers from the world of stock car racing to sports cars and IndyCar who will actually call you on the phone and tell you what you've done wrong.
Yeah, dude, I don't think it's the car.
On a positive note, you're doing awesome on the straights.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe try lifting next time?
You're kind of a long way away from needing any setup work.
Martin didn't seem to have that problem at all.
The cool thing about eRacing is if somebody crashes me out, there'll be an automatic Twitter fight right after.
It is so realistic that if you make a mistake on track, it will automatically contact your father and he will cut your daily allowance.
So I had a crash on eRacing and automatically I got 45 messages on my phone. There's nothing more embarrassing than all of your friends asking if you're okay and you screwed up yourself.
When you make a mistake, they actually have digital Justin Bell jump on you for 20 minutes and not let it go.
I think I was a little bit lazy on his move and not at all emphatic. Lapse in deliberation and concentration, and he goes. He knows that it was probably something to do with him.
Now, for someone like myself, coming from the marketing and the business side of the sport, we've gone to great lengths to make sure this is fully immersive. First, we'll work closely with you to figure out how you can hide just how much you're spending so that your spouse never finds out. Now, if it's maybe just too expensive, eRacing is the only motorsport simulation to offer the walk the paddock feature. You may not necessarily get to get behind the wheel, but you can still be part of the program.
Not happy with your notoriety? We'll start a clothing line, maybe a podcast.
Does a podcast sound like too much work? No problem. Just wait for somebody else and then just copy what they do.
Now you're not an e-racer unless you e-cycle, and we built that right into the game. Thanks to eRacing's downloadable content, if you race for Porsche, we'll automatically tweet 17 times a day about all the e-cycling you've been doing.
And of course, one of the features is being licensed. For example, if you want to drive the eRacing IndyCar, all you really have to do to get approved is know Stefan Johansson.
Simon Wood, you know him?
No, I don't know who that is.
How about John Cantu?
Yeah, he's fine.
If you really want to know about racing, go to eRacing. That is the real world and how we function every day.
Yeah, I can't let you out until the wire transfer clearance. We haven't seen a dime yet.
I appreciate the attention to detail, like in the autograph session when someone sneezes in their hand before reaching out to shake yours.
All the fans walk right past you next to your teammate who was on some dancing show like 15 years ago.
My favorite option in eRacing? The one where you can move back with your parents.
When it comes to all the racing simulators out there, eRacing is by far the choice of most pros. It's so realistic that even if you don't qualify for the eRacing 500, they still make you watch it on TV. Every single lap.
When the time comes that you want to quit e-racing, don't worry. All we ask is that you give us an acceptable excuse.
If you can't afford it, not a problem. Just blame the BOP.
Simply not good enough? That's okay. Just tell us that you're going to focus on the family business.
Or simply just get arrested. eRacing,
the most authentic motorsports simulator in the world.
Straight from the bottom and I made it to the top. Gotta win every day, so I take it. Yeah. I go hard on the baseline. Yeah, you never thought you'd see the kid shine, but I'ma run it up. I'ma run it up. I'ma run it up. Woo. I go hard on the baseline. Yeah, so you can see my name in bright light. Yeah, I'ma run it up. I'ma run it up. I'ma run it up. Every day, I got it. Every day, I cannot lose. I cannot lose. Every day I gotta get it, every day, I cannot lose, man, I refuse. Every day I got it, every day, I cannot lose, I cannot lose. Every day I gotta get it, every day, I cannot lose, man, I refuse.
And we're live. I think we have sound. Seems like we're streaming. I think we're good to go, Ryan.
Cool.
Yeah.
Man, I'm more excited about this race than any of them that we've done.
Absolutely. And we've had a smooth setup, so shouldn't be any problems. Anyway, welcome to Thursday Night Blunder, the semifinals. This is the second to lap event, which if you're a PR person or a writer, it means you have to say penultimate. Because that makes you sound fancy. It may make you sound less fancy if everyone says it. You know what? Let's have Marco say it. Marco, can you say penultimate?
Penultimate.
I would think it would. Okay, well, be more Italian this time.
Penultimate.
Nailed it.
Fine, that works. Is there an Italian equivalent?
Yes, penultimo.
All right, that's better. That's better, cool. Ladies. All right, so this is the penultimate round of the Thursday Night Blunder. We've got one more week of this nonsense, and then it is all over, and everybody's got to go back to their day jobs. But well, let's cut to a still image here to keep our jokes always going. Because if there's one thing I know, it's that we have to have recurring jokes that no one cares about. Right. Ryan, what are we looking at here?
Well, if we're looking at the track in Detroit.
We're looking at. Is that? Correct me if I'm wrong, but is that Detroit? Is that the streets of Detroit we're looking at here? The beautiful, beautiful city of Detroit, Michigan. Yeah, is that what this still image is?
A lovely photograph you took earlier today of Detroit.
Yeah, because we're clearly there. And now we're going to cut to the track action at what is this circuit here?
Well, this will be the Detroit Belle Isle. And it is literally located in the river between Windsor, Canada. Is it Windsor Locks?
I don't know. I just call it Windsor.
Yeah, Windsor, Canada, and Detroit, USA. I mean, sorry, Detroit, Michigan, USA.
Right.
And it is a street circuit built basically in a park. And Roger Penske has sunk a ton of time, money, and energy into making this racetrack a staple on the IndyCar series and sports car racing races there as well. And we decided to take it upon ourselves because it's really sketchy, it's bumpy, it's hard to get around the track, and we might as well use the cars with the least amount of grip that also have shocks so we can jump over GTP cars.
Exactly. So for our semifinal, we decided to make this race at Detroit what we call the Jumpy Truck Extravaganza. And when we say jumpy trucks, we mean jumpy trucks. Now, when they race at Detroit every year, they unfortunately it doesn't look like this year is going to be happening. But previous years, the Stadium Super Truck Series has in fact raced at Detroit. It always put on a spectacular show, and we felt like that had to be mimicked as we ran these semifinal events here. So, so what we are doing is right now we have 60 competitors in the Truck Series spread between 2 races because this is our semifinal. So we're going to run 2 races here, Ryan. And what is the key if you're in one of these races?
You want to be in the top 10 because if you're in the top 10, you are going to move on to our World Finals, which are coming up next week, which will decide the big champion of Thursday Night Blunder.
Exactly. And so we have 60 cars, or 60 trucks, I should say, split between 2 races. So there'll be about 30 plus trucks in this race, and then we'll have another race in a little over an hour to decide who our 20 contestants for next week's final will be. So the top 10 in this race you're seeing, and then the top 10 in the next race, and that'll be that. But for those who did not qualify, those who right now this race is made up of people who either won races in previous Thursday Night Blunder events, people who finished well in the points, or people who got in on a special sort of fan qualification system we have called Riley's. They all have made it into this race, and the people that did not qualify on any of that criteria and therefore didn't necessarily qualify for the semifinals, well, we're letting them drive too. And Marco, if we can take a look at one of those cars, our non-eligible participants, there they are right there. They are driving what kind of vehicle, Ryan?
That would be the Nissan GTP 1988. I think it's a 300ZX is what they called it. But for argument's sake, we're going to call it the Acura GTP car because why not?
Exactly. And the thing about the GTP is this car was developed in the late 1980s to race in top-level prototype sports car competition. And the car is like a perfect wedge. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at these perfect wedges because they are perfect for creating ramps for these trucks. And the beauty is because they are cars, they can absolutely move around. So where these 3 guys are stationed right now, making havoc on these trucks going by, they may move later on in the race. Like, you never know where they're going to be. It's like an elaborate game of Frogger, and that's exactly why we thought this is the absolute greatest semifinal race we could run.
Exactly right, Sean. They basically are going to be facing the wrong direction, and I know everybody on the internet has a better idea because I've read it about 40 times. Sean, why don't they just drive in the reverse direction the whole time?
Oh, that would be because of black flags. So
right.
iRacing has it automated so that if you go backwards on the track, you're going to get disqualified, or you could create black flags for everybody else. And that doesn't make for good racing, especially since, you know, the object for the trucks that they're competing with is to try and race one another. And it's not really racing if you're getting black flagged every other lap. The other thing is it's not a demolition derby. They are genuinely supposed to act as ramps. So there needs to be at least like a 50% chance you're going to land.
Right.
When you hit one of these GTPs. So if they were just sitting there just trying to wreck trucks with no other obstacle, then it would just be trucks crashing. But the whole idea here is that the trucks do have a chance to land these jumps if they hit it right and if they time it right. They can also drive around if they can make it work. But you take a risk if you try to drive around that you might hit the ramp at the wrong angle and flip yourself over.
Yeah, and we saw a couple of people last on Tuesday night doing our runoffs race that would hit the jump just right, and they would gain a ton of time, but they'd literally be jumping over like 7 or 8 trucks that are upside down, backwards, or stuck in the fence. So it was one of those risk versus rewards. How big do you want to go? And that's exactly what we wanted to see.
Exactly. So, Ryan, you've driven in the truck series, in the Super Truck series before, not at Detroit, but you have experience actually jumping around in a similar type of vehicle. Based on that experience, or really just by virtue of watching last Tuesday, what is going to be the key to finish in the top 10 here?
Well, the biggest thing I can tell you about Detroit, where I raced in the World Challenge Series, is that it's bumpy already. So these trucks, which don't have a lot of grip, are already sliding around. Now you're going to add in the jumping aspect that we've created for the first time in iRacing history. And I think, personally, landing the jumps, if you hit one, is the key to winning today, because you might be the fastest guy on track, but if you land the thing and it bounces through the roof and ends up in the fence, well, then you're screwed. So having the ability to keep it on all 4 wheels when you come off one of these jumps is going to be critical to a top 10 result.
Exactly. So you do see folks on the roof, and the problem is when you're on your roof, you can't get the truck turned over. You're stuck. So then you have to do what's called getting a tow, which means you basically hit the reset button in iRacing, but iRacing then penalizes you by, here's probably a perfect example. There's Lane Walker. Oh, so Lane Walker, there's a perfect example. He's stuck in the fence now. And I don't know that Lane will be able to get out of that fence. So the only way he can get out of that fence is to effectively hit the reset button, which in iRacing is called the tow. And what it means is, there you go. What it means is that you have to wait for a sort of virtual tow truck to take your car back to the pits. He's, teamwork.
Yeah, I was going to say,
go ahead.
You might get a little help from somebody out there, but essentially what you got going here, it's like when you see a bear trap, in the old movies and what they set out there. Well, that's exactly what's happened here. That right rear wheel is hooked and you're stuck. Even guys trying to run into them and help them out here, it's a real problem. However, if you're just upside down on your roof and somebody helps you out, like maybe one of the GTP cars, well, it depends on how nice you were to everybody this year. And there we go. We see he was able to get out of the fence, but that took an awful lot of time from people to help him, which in the race, probably not going to happen.
Exactly. And to exactly that level, the time lost in a reset, which can be anywhere between a minute to 3 or 4 minutes versus somebody who may be leading by 20 seconds, it's not worth it. So the guys who are calculated and calm and just take their way to either drive around the ramps or drive over them without flipping, when we watched the practice race we did on Tuesday, we noticed those were the folks that always seem to do well. So it'll be an interesting semifinal here.
Yeah, the cool thing we've seen, though, is a lot of liveries that pay tribute to our guests throughout the year, including tonight's guest, Rutledge Wood, and also Todd Eldredge. But this particular livery that Sean and I are very familiar with is done after my 1993 Honda Acti that I've named Yoshi, and it's got our Dinner with the Racers livery on it, which we basically knocked off the McLaren that won the championship that year with Ayrton Senna. So pretty cool to see that out there, but also a lot of plaid for Rutledge tonight. And I think my favorite one was the astronaut livery that I saw that Noah Wheeler came up with.
Yeah, if we could take a look at Noah Wheeler, we'll give that some special attention, because if we're going to fly, we may as well be astronauts about it. Noah Wheeler may not be in this. He may be in the second stint. Oh, no, he's right there. He's right there. Okay, there you go. So, there's the hood, NASA, which would be in tribute to the fact that these trucks are flying. But if we take a look at the passenger side, perfect. You know what? We may not be able to get a good roof shot the way these trucks are set up. Oh, we got Corgi mud flaps. That's a space Corgi. Nice. And so that's the roof cam. Unfortunately, I don't know that any of our cams. Yeah, that's probably the best that we can get as far as a roof cam, which doesn't do us any good now. Although there is also a logo there on the floor in case Noah went upside down, which I can't really see, but I think it's you, Ryan.
Yeah. So my favorite thing, obviously, they put some astronauts on here. So it's myself, Rutledge Wood, our host guest tonight, as well as you, and you picked up right away. Who are you out of the astronauts?
So it's
Apollo 11.
It's the Apollo 11 astronauts, and so I believe they've got Rutledge in the Neil Armstrong role. I believe you're in the Buzz Aldrin role, and of course I got the Michael Collins role.
Right.
Naturally.
We already joke about that with you.
Yeah, I don't know that that's ever been public, but we joke about how I very much understand Michael Collins' plight in life. And so Noah Wheeler, of course, picking up on that. So you mentioned Rutledge Wood, we mentioned Todd Eldredge. Why are their names coming up, Ryan?
Well, tonight we'll have Rutledge Wood joining us for the first hour in the first race, and Rutledge is no stranger to the racing world, but he's also a great on-air personality, a close friend of ours. And when you're going to do something this dumb for about an hour, it's good to have people that you know and that you can just kind of riff with. And so that's why we went ahead and brought in Rutledge for the first hour. And then the second hour, we're going to bring in world champion figure skater and Olympian, Mr. Todd Eldredge, who has been a regular in the Dinner with Racers Thursday Night Blunder, but also the man knows a lot about judging things flying through the air, as do you, Sean. So he'll be doing a lot of judging for our best air trick or coolest stunt that we see tonight, as will Rutledge.
Exactly. So just to shed some light on that, so the top 10 in each race from our truck category will automatically advance to the world final next week. And where they finish doesn't matter. Like, as long as they make the top 10, it's a fresh sheet of paper next week. However, we are going to advance at a minimum one ramp to the world final next week as well. And that ramp will be determined by a completely arbitrary process between our two guest hosts, Rutledge Wood and Todd Eldredge, and then Ryan and myself. So when it comes to judging people for their aerobatics, Todd knows a thing or two, and Rutledge is, of course, knows how to tell a story. So we figure between the two of them, there'll be some great judges here.
Yeah, and so we're seeing some cool liveries here, getting some good comments in the chat room. Obviously, there we have our friend Robert Hibby running the Mesa Vista Coffee truck. And what we've seen here throughout the year is that Mr. Robert Hibby himself has been working alongside the legendary Jeff Brown, who is the proprietor of Mesa Vista Coffee. And they've been testing everything they've done. He's been spotting for Robert. It's been a whole get-together, and it kind of started with us selling something like 50 pounds of coffee at Sebring when we did our Pooper Sebring 12 hours earlier this year.
Exactly. I am texting Jeff right now to see if he's around today.
Yeah, but, some comments in the chat room already, which I'm enjoying, is people questioning why there are no monster truck liveries. Well, last night or 2 nights ago, I saw the Bigfoot truck in our series, and we've had a monster truck livery, Gravedigger, I believe, before. So give it time. We got 2 races. We got a lot of people out here that put some time and effort into it. It's going to be good.
Exactly. And again, these are the sort of 60 people that qualified for our semifinal. So it's not going to be everybody that's participated in the league over the last 8 weeks. It's going to be the people that have won races, that did well in the points, that won what we call Rileys, which are fan points for doing different things on social media. So we should see some pretty good liveries, because typically the people that are here every week are the people that really put in the effort. So
and Lance Snyder.
Oh, so that's how you don't do it. Who is that?
Well,
was that Lee Lucas?
Man.
Okay. So that's Lee Lucas. So perfect example of why you don't want to go full tilt as fast as you can over a ramp, because it oftentimes doesn't work out. So here's an onboard with Lee Lucas. I think, is this a replay? No, it's his, I don't know. Yeah, this is a replay. So watch Lee here. This is exactly how you don't do it. We'll ride on board, and there he goes. So if Rutledge or Todd were here, we would then look at the performance of that to see who was the ramp that he hit, and then we would give that ramp a score. So anyway, so that's what we have going on tonight. It should be an adventure. We have no idea what to expect. We did do a practice race. There is Trevor Price, and I don't know who that is with them, but oh, see, that's exactly what we're talking about hitting the wrong angle. There's the right angle. Does he land on? Yep, see, he's going to land on all fours. And notice how the guys that land are the guys who hit square.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting to me to see people hit the ramps on the side when you know darn well that it's going to pick the thing up on 2 wheels. So when we do the Robbie Gordon Super Stadium Truck Series, they literally tell you, if you're not going to hit the ramp with all 4 wheels, don't try to hit the ramp. Don't be a hero. You're not going to ride out the 2-wheel thing at full speed. So they literally tell you, give up and hit the next one. Don't try to be a hero. And as we see here, perfectly staged up on the straightaway between turns 2 and 3, a great setting of GTP ramps. Perfect. See, like that guy right there almost got away with the barrel roll, but really unlikely and also dizzying to pull off.
Whereas square on right here, let's see how this goes. Yeah. That is Mark Kaufman. He hits square, which is
still big air.
Too much speed. Too much speed. Because look at that. Yeah, now he's headed straight for his roof, and who knows how he'll land. Whereas,
we got another one coming here.
Let's see what the other 2 guys do. And but see, the people who slow up, hit the brakes, see how they're checking up. Oh, okay. Oh. And then it got ruined.
Oh, well, good move. That was something that guy just learned.
Interesting. It worked.
Yeah.
and some people can drive through them. So you just never know what to expect.
Yeah, I think the deal is, and we'll relay this to the GTP ramps. I think after they've been in one place for a while, something happens with the game, because we saw this on Tuesday where our ramps that stayed in the same place for a long time, they ended up becoming invisible for a little bit. So I'm betting if you move back like 5 feet or something, it would re-trigger it, and you go right back to being a great ramp.
Yeah, we'll see. It's interesting. I don't think when iRacing programmed the trucks and the Nissans that they necessarily envisioned this. So I'm sure there's a few flaws of the way the physics work. So anyway, and since these ramps are being driven by people, of course, it's a moving target for them as well to figure out what's going to work best. So lots of things to figure out. A lot of ins, a lot of outs.
A lot of what have yous.
Exactly. So you want to get Rutledge?
Yeah, let's get Mr. The Wood
All right.
on the phone.
So we're going to go grab Rutledge Wood. We're going to replay that Detroit promo video and come back for some excitement.
Straight from the bottom and I made it to the top. Gotta win every day, so I take it. I go hard on the baseline, yeah. You never thought you'd see the kid shine, but I'ma run it up, I'ma run it up, I'ma run it up. I go hard on the baseline, yeah. So you can see my name in bright light, yeah. I'ma run it up, I'ma run it up, I'ma run it up. Every day, I gotta get it, every day. I cannot lose, I cannot lose. Every day, I gotta get it, every day. I cannot lose, man, I refuse. Every day, I gotta get it, every day. I cannot lose, I cannot lose. Every day, I gotta get it, every day. I cannot lose, man, I refuse.
All right, we are back. It is the Jumpy Truck Extravaganza, the semifinal of Thursday Night Blunder. We have about, 8 or 9 minutes left in practice here as everyone's sort of getting used to life as a truck or life as a ramp. How are you doing, Ryan?
I'm good, man. Yeah, just excited for our guests tonight, both of them actually. And again, I've been looking forward to this since we came up with it. In fact, on Tuesday, you were like, since it's just like a kind of a throw together race, we don't really have to stream it or whatever, so you don't have to watch if you don't. And I was like, no, I want to watch just to watch. So, yeah, that's how excited this is going to be.
Exactly. So we have 2 different hosts coming on over the next 2 races. Our host for race 1 is a guy that, you've known him for a little while there, haven't you, Ryan? Why don't you introduce him for us?
Yeah, none other than Peachtree City's own Rutledge Wood, featured on Netflix. He's been on several different television shows like Top Gear USA, and also he is a NASCAR at-track on-air personality and one of my closest friends, Mr. Rutledge Wood. Thanks for joining us tonight.
You're on screen.
Guys, what an unbelievable honor to be back here with you. Look at that beautiful truck, huh? I mean, that's, wow, huge honor. Thank you.
Doesn't get any bigger. So you agreed to do this, and I guess the real question is why?
Well, to be honest, I am trying to kind of move Ryan as one of my closest friends over, and Sean put you in that catbird seat, if you will. So I felt like this was my face is on the mud flap.
Yeah, hold on. Let's go full screen with that so people can see it. So yeah, that right there, that is Paul Roddy, who has Rutledge Wood mud flaps.
Wow. And you know what? What's so amazing? A lot of people don't know this. Paul, Roddy, and I used to play on a intramural t-ball team together.
Okay.
In Cincinnati one summer. It was crazy. I think it was, Ryan, was it 95, 96?
We hadn't met yet, but I remember you were showing me the highlight reel in your basement that one time, and I swear you said it was spring '96.
Yeah, I think it was 96. That's a huge tribute. Now, here's really something that's so wild and interesting. One of the big reasons I want to do this is that truck right there has that amazing sponsor, Valvoline, on it. True story. Not only do I love that they are part of Dinner with Racers and this amazing racing series, but Valvoline is the very first sponsored thing that I ever got to do. And for a car guy growing up, I had a stock car style go-kart that was stickered up with Valvoline on the side. And so the very first thing I got to do was for them. They had a product a few years ago called Next Gen, and it was so cool to do that. But is now time I can mention my actual sponsors that let me do this?
Absolutely. Let's go full screen. There we go. Pitch.
Good. I have some fake sponsors as well, but I want to give a shout out to NBC Sports and NASCAR and NBC.
Perfect.
I love you.
Absolutely.
My friends at Toyota Racing, Paul and the gang, everybody there. Our friends at Continental Tire.
Continental Tire.
If you haven't had a chance to check out our amazing video series at forwhatyoudo.com, I would love for you to, because Ryan and I's friend Dan Hamby takes the most beautiful spill off a stand-up paddleboard I've ever seen in my life. It's worth watching.
It is a work of art.
Nice.
It really is. Also, shout out to all my friends at MagnaFlow, working hard out there in California, Odyssey Battery, and of course, Paul Roddy for his amazing paintwork there. I do have fake sponsors, but those are for later.
We'll hold on to those for later, and then we'll also pitch this at the end. But you've also got some projects that are about to go big here, and so because that was on Twitter, right? So I'm pretty sure it's public.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sean,
sell me these shows.
You're not only really smart and good looking, you're also incredibly talented at PR, because I forgot after y'all did the intro. I have a new show coming out on Netflix. June 19th.
June 19th.
Called Floor is Lava. If you've ever heard of the game that kids play where they just yell, "Floor is lava," it's like that. It's sort of like Wipeout meets the greatest set you've ever seen. We have all these different rooms, and teams of 3, sometimes 2, would compete for $10,000. You got to get from one corner of the room to the other. And there is all this lava going off, and if you slip, you don't come up again. You disappear. Everyone's fine, as far as
they don't actually melt from lava.
Well, my kids saw one of the early screeners, and Sweet Hattie was a little concerned about that. I said, no, I promise they're fine. She's like, where did they go? I said, they're fine, honey. But it's going to be awesome. It comes out June 19th on Netflix. And what's awesome is how many people have been watching Hyperdrive, during the quarantine and people having a lot more time. It's so cool to see how many people are like, wait, so y'all made a video game television show with real racers and real cars? And I said, yes, that's what Hyperdrive was. So that's been really fun. But
cool.
I love you guys, and I'm always happy to do anything I can with y'all.
Awesome. All right. So normally we would encourage everyone to watch Amazon Prime. However, in this one exception, June 19th, well, 2 exceptions really, because Hyperdrive you can watch now.
Yes.
But so Hyperdrive on Netflix now. But coming June 19th, no joke, Floor is Lava is now a televised series. I've just come off of a big binge of the show Community. And there's a fantastic Floor is Lava episode on Community, all about this very theme. So it's inspiring and definitely makes me want to watch.
If y'all are curious, I know I told Ryan, but this show is a co-viewing show, which means kids and adults can sit together and watch it. It didn't start out that way. So I actually, I'm the main host and I narrate the whole thing. And so when I tell you that we had to change the first 2 episodes, one of the sets looks like a planetarium. So I had to go from saying the word Uranus, or as we said in Alabama, Uranus.
Correct.
To changing all of it and making it much more scientific. And even my kids today were giggling. They were like, that person just said there's Uranus. I said, well, she can say it, but Daddy cannot. So It's going to be really fun for everybody. So thank you guys. It's really sweet. What's been going on with YouTube? This series has really thrown the world on its ear.
Oh, of course it has. It's so big. Yeah, I mean.
Trucks at Belle Isle ramping over the other cars going the wrong way?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Ryan, sell them.
Yeah, you get it.
It reminds me. It's funny. Yeah, that's basically it. That's the whole kit.
Done.
Yeah,
it's hard not to think about. I mean, for so many years, I heard Ryan say, "Guys, to Continental Tire, when are you going to put me in one of Robbie's trucks?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it." And he's like, "No, seriously, let's do it." And then finally, was it your first or second race where that dude hit the jump wrong and spun here, and you rolled and kept going?
That would be my second race.
Second race. Once I saw that and you podiumed, I was like, you know what? This really might be the greatest racing series in the world, but we need to do stuff like what y'all are doing tonight with them in real life.
Right. Yeah. We need to strap
so we need to actually get vintage GTP cars.
Right. We need to get aluminum tub GTP Nissans, which are probably in the millions.
Yep.
At least 10 of them.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's actually funny. You mentioned the Connie thing. It was actually different than that. They didn't know I was serious. And then on the Hot Rod Power Tour last year, I said, "What's the deal?" Which I swear to God, I said this to Greg Vandermark and Travis Roffler. Which one of you two do I kick in the nuts because I haven't got to drive that truck yet? And you know them, and you know they laughed.
Of course.
The next day, Robbie Gordon called me.
Yeah, but I mean, I swear, 4 years, I heard you talking to them for years and years. Like, no, seriously, I want to go race one of the trucks. And they're like, yeah, of course you do.
Yeah, but they just started sponsoring it last year.
Seriously.
All right, so quick update on what exactly is going on screen. So this is qualifying. Practice has just ended. And so it's a 5-minute open session qualifying. So these guys have 5 minutes to get the fastest lap they can. And just to shed a little bit of light, Rutledge, top 10 in the race will advance to next week's big old final. So here at Detroit, qualifying might matter because, of course, passing is pretty difficult. But qualifying is going to kind of be its own animal. We'll see if the ramps play a role. The thing about qualifying is the way iRacing works, if you have any sort of what they consider an incident on track, if you touch a wall, if you shortcut a course, if you make contact with another car, they disallow that time automatically. So if you only have enough time to set 1 or 2 laps, half the folks in this session will probably not even set times because they'll have so many times disallowed. So if there's ramps, where they go, that kind of thing will play a pretty big role. Otherwise, we'll see how this goes.
This is pretty exciting, guys. I hope it's okay if I volunteer a little information, some backstory. I tried to do my research.
Sure.
We encourage it.
Please, good. John Canto, I think he's in the 76. John's a really interesting guy. Loves nature. That's what people say. They call him the nature boy where he's from. But his real moniker, Cantu, is his last name, but people will say, Can't you? And that's a real motivator for him. So I think some of his friends said, can't you get that truck to the front? We're going to see tonight, guys. We're going to see.
And his nickname, or his Twitter name, I should say, @Dogathan, is also pretty popular. And that's actually what I referred to him as when I met him, because he introduced himself and said, I'm at Dogathan. And I was like, great, I'll never not call you that again.
Right. But in fairness, you then immediately knew who he was because of Twitter.
Yeah, no, it is huge.
So
I
it
was
gives
like,
you
thank
context. You'd be like, I'm John. You'd be like, cool, I know 50 Johns.
Yeah.
Does that... go ahead.
I had an interesting week on Twitter. I thought I'd share a little bit.
Please do.
Is this what you already told me about?
Ryan and I have shared many fun stories.
We got 45 minutes left of this. Keep going.
Okay, good. Twitter's an interesting place where sometimes people think like, oh, well, since I can send you a message, then you want to know exactly how I feel about you. But many times we didn't ask.
Oh, okay. Never had this experience.
This was one of those weeks. You know, right?
Yeah, people love maybe as early as today with where we should be running our ramp race.
Oh, of course. Like
that we didn't ask.
You know what? We'd really like some criticism of where you want us to run the most ridiculous race, as if we made a bad choice.
Right. Pretty much. But anyway, so tell us more of this.
So,
is that me on that car?
I had an interesting week. Someone out of nowhere was like, "Hey, look at Sean. I'll have
look at that. There we go. That is something."
You don't have the greatest fans.
We
ever.
We do. There's a few like Rutledge, Ryan hybrids
I saw we were on the roof. Is that the 44? That thing looks amazing.
Like William Booz. I don't remember if William Booz is in this race. I think he is. Like if William Booz is out there, I know he's got a special Ryan crossover.
Yeah.
Look at Alex.
Yeah, there it is.
They call him the Prince. Oh, look at that. Yeah, we made it on the Hart truck. That was cool.
Yeah, we got a Ridgeline going here. I think my half of it's a Ridgeline, your half of it's a Tundra, but bringing the Hart guys into it with the plaid that you're known for, I think that's a great looking truck.
That was you know what? Heartfelt thank you, because it takes at least 7 or 8 solid committed minutes to make one of these paint schemes, and I appreciate all of them. Yeah, so out of nowhere, this person was like, now keep in mind, NASCAR finally got back to the track. I think all of us were excited to see any kind of racing. Oh! Wow, folks, that's why you always keep your seatbelt on, virtual or not.
Virtual or not.
Someone out of nowhere was like, I'm so glad that NASCAR on NBC isn't covering this race because Rutledge Wood is the worst. And then someone else was like,
of course.
Well, then I had to make sure my kids were in the room. Someone else is like, I think they should hang him from the Ferris wheel at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now, of course, that seems a little egregious. A person who is a guy who's a photographer, I'll just say a young man who wants to be a photographer for racing, then photoshops my face onto a person who has been hanged. And I saw it and thought, that's wildly insensitive and a little over the top. Yeah. And then this other dude who had previously crapped on me for no reason, and I muted him then. Oh, gosh. Oh, boy, the Hart truck takes a tumble. Ooh.
William Bulls.
Oh, Billy, that was a big one. I'm sorry, buddy. So out of nowhere, I was like, hey, guys, just heads up. We're not even covering the race. I'm just at home watching.
Oh, no, yeah. This is the time for that, because we'll get into the race soon enough, and then we'll actually watch racing. But qualifying is such a disaster that it's very tough to follow qualifying until we see what the lap times are.
Fantastic.
This is the time for this.
The best part was the joy of Twitter, and why I've loved seeing all these pictures of the trucks this week is those two guys. I said I've learned a lot from my buddy Dax Shepard, which is that sometimes people don't know better, and that's okay. But if you think they might, maybe just remind them, like my mom might read this. And so I told the young guy who wants to be a photographer, I was like, hey man, there's no easy way to say this. Racing is a lot smaller of a world than you think, and I'd hate for something like this to hold you back from what you really want to do. I just think about stuff like this in the future before you do it. That dude blocked me in about 30 seconds. Because as so many of us have learned, one thing that people really hate is when you hold a mirror up in front of them and you ask if they like what they see. They a lot of times don't. The other dude then came after me and was like, bro, you're the one, you're so insecure, you're shaking this up. And I was like, hey, no, legitimately, it's not me. I said, I don't know how to tell you this nicely. I don't care what you think, and I won't. But the next person you go after, that's the person I worry about. And that's something I've learned from a buddy, Dax Shepard. Sometimes it's okay to say, like, hey, it's cool if you don't like me, but, like, you also know no one asked. I think that's the joy of Twitter is people. Twitter needed a tagline. It's people answering questions that no one asked.
Right.
Correct. God bless you. God.
Such a weird thing. Oh, what do you do in iRacing? Are you saying how's he going to get back over?
Well, so the ramps can help get people turned over if they're stuck, because. So the thing is, these trucks, once they're on their roof, that's it. They can't, there's nothing they can do to turn over. Or if they're stuck in a fence like this poor guy.
Unless you're Ryan Eversley and you throttle down and then you podium.
Exactly.
But I guess you're talking about.
That's a pro. That's the difference between Ryan and, say, Lance Snyder, who we're looking at now. And Lance sucks.
Ooh, Lance. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Shout out to Lance Mountain.
Lance is your guy.
Yeah. Lance is fine. Lance is fine with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We don't pick on everyone.
As you want.
We just pick on
Speaking of Lance, I think I might have a sunspot. I might need to get lanced. Am I right?
Okay.
Oh, wow. It's going to be this for 40 more
You're
minutes.
welcome.
It's great having Rutledge with us tonight. Have a great night, bud.
All right.
Well, that's it for me.
Lee Lucas is on the pole. Jacob Witcher, P2. Davis Trask, P3. Paul Roddy and John Cantu taking P4 and 5. So your boys, Rutledge. Lee is proven to consistently be one of the quickest guys on track. So him taking pole is not a terribly big surprise. I mean, pretty much these are all regulars from our series. That's why they're in the semifinals. So Daylon Barr is back. He's been out for a few weeks.
Yeah, so Alan Space there in 20th, trying to give everybody else a little space.
There we go. By the way,
you're on TV.
Before we go,
saving all my good stuff for here.
So Chase Briscoe, by the way, who just won in Xfinity earlier today, hopefully I didn't ruin any spoilers for people, was running Daylon Barr's lady as the sort of real hero on the side of his car.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah. So cool stuff.
Yeah.
Guys, I just got a breaking news here for Paul Roddy. He just picked up a new sponsor.
Here we go. We're about to go green.
Some love to Shants. When shorts aren't enough and pants are too much, Shants. Shants, the brand that fits, sort of.
Poor Todd Eldredge is watching this going, do I have to do this?
He's like, wait, I didn't write this.
Todd's amazing. He'll have something to actually add. I just wasn't busy.
Well, you guys have both been to the Olympics.
Yeah, we're about to go green.
We've both been to in very different capacities, but yes, so exciting here. What do we?
So it's a green light, or it'll be red light and then no red light. Here you go.
Here
we go. And Lee Lucas off to a great start. We'll see. Now historically pretty dumb stuff happens into turn 3, even without the ramps.
Yeah, it's a hard corner to get. They've got cold tires, low pressures.
Heavy cars, banging off the walls.
And there's a lot on the line. Top 10 advances here.
Yeah. So, again, as far as, there's glory in winning, no doubt. But top 10 is the goal. If you can finish in the top 10, you will be racing in the final next week. And so, Dustin.
No, Yoshi! Yoshi's gone!
So Dustin. Oh, wow. All the cars we've spotlighted are all on their roofs.
Yeah, William Booth, looks like Justin Parcher got through there pretty well. Daylon Barr, who's been a strong driver all year in our series, is continuing on as well. But man, Chaos and I haven't even seen a GTP car yet.
Yeah, exactly. Like we just need to keep the trucks going, and they can take each other out. So once the
guys, did the GTP cars start going the correct direction and then spun themselves around?
Correct. Yeah. So they kind of hang out at the back for the start, and then so here we go. So this is Brandon Garasha. So we'll use him as a perfect example. So Brandon's one of our ramps. He's allowed to drive forward to find his position. There is no designated position. They can do whatever they want. So Brandon has basically picked out his spot, and as you can see, here's a whole bunch of them. They've all picked out their spot.
That's the shot. You got to go back to that
shot.
So
let's go back to that group shot there.
Yeah,
Marco.
That's gonna be like turn 2.
Look at the spin too. Like what a cool thing. And for the record, there are people who signed up just to drive those GTP cars, just to be ramped over all.
100% correct. These they're called awesome.
Heroes. Heroes is what they are.
So between this race and the next, 60 people have qualified for the semifinal. And then the people that did not qualify for the semifinal were welcome to become ramps, and that's what they did. So,
the view going into the turn 3 brake zone here ought to be pretty impressive, because that's where we're about to see all of these GTP cars lined up down here.
Here's Lee Lucas, the leader. What's he going to do? Got to slow up. Here we go. He tries to spread him.
Yeah.
And Lee's over, no problem.
Nice.
But here comes the rest of the field. This is everything right here.
Oh, good. Some of these guys had better run on the dirt setup, Sean, because those are some good landings. But
and this is why we run this race, because look how I think there's 4 people that made it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Is that Paul Roddy coming through? Lance Snyder's on his roof.
Send it, guys. If you're coming up to it, full send.
Yeah. Right.
Wow. That's everything right there.
I think the rule we kind of came up with on our own was, if you're a couple laps down, you better be full send all the time.
Yeah. Exactly.
All the time.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
And then there's that. Yeah, there's not even a jump. There's just okay. So here's the other thing: is the moving ramp. The moving ramp is absolutely an option. I think that was Brandon we were looking at, but the moving ramp is another obstacle that you have to be aware of if you're a truck. It's all on the line here.
Yeah, top 10 advances. There is no safety net here.
So
Paul Roddy doing a job.
Guys, dinner's here. Fantastic. Real question: that one driver is driving in reverse to constantly change where he is, right?
I think the guy that we saw there was Brandon Garasha. Okay, here's another spot on the track.
Yeah.
With 3 more ramps. And
big.
who is that? I can't quite tell.
Double front.
That's Jacob Witcher. Jacob, and now is he stuck in the wall? No, he's still going to make it. So Jacob Witcher, he'll lose ground, but he won't have to get a tow. The big thing is you don't want to be stuck on your roof, so that you require a tow from iRacing.
Yeah, one of the Continental trucks upside down back there and stuck. Looks like he's going to get some help from that livery. Is that a yellow plaid?
Yeah, that's a yellow plaid Valvoline.
Is that my Continental suit from Vegas?
It might have been.
I think it is.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's so great. Now, damage is turned off, so these guys can
spell
keep going,
Continental?
and they should be all right if they can keep going.
Yeah, so like, for example, the gentleman's, who is that? Is that Joseph Kang? So Joseph Kang stuck in the fence there. If someone can hit him strong enough, he can get out of there, but otherwise he's going to require a tow. So if the ramps want to back into him to knock him out, they can. If another truck happens to hit him and knock him out, they can. So Joseph's literal math game right now is it worth it to wait and hope I can get knocked off the fence, or should I just take the tow now and just go ahead and know that I'm going to lose 2 minutes?
Yeah. We did see some yellows. Oh,
Ooh.
man.
Yeah.
Now, we did see some yellows in the runoffs on Tuesday, so it is possible that there could be a full course, and you might be able to get back in this thing if you're just running around by yourself. So
exactly.
Definitely a lot of time left, Sean. I think it's we're only like almost 5 minutes into the race.
Yeah, and if I'm looking at the weather radar,
yeah,
I don't think we'll have another yellow for probably another 5 minutes or so.
Sure.
But I would definitely
Did you order bad weather?
I'm just saying, like, I'm looking at the radar, Rutledge. I am not a meteorologist, but based on my my expertise on the matter and my experience, I would say we might have a yellow in a few minutes. We'll see.
You know who we should get as your meteorologist is Charlotte's own Larry Sprinkle.
Is there really a Larry Sprinkle?
Yes, and
Nice.
I interviewed him with my friend Kyle Petty, and he
Okay.
is the most delightful weatherman you'll ever meet. Second to, we used to have Flip Spiceland in Atlanta, but he retired.
That's right.
Yeah, here in
remember him?
Here in Los Angeles, you may have crossed paths with him in the celebrity race for Long Beach, but here in Los Angeles we have Dallas Raines.
Oh.
Dallas Raines was like a handsome silver fox that would tell you what was going on. I think he's still around.
Yeah.
Dallas Rains.
Dallas
in a place
Rains.
where it never rains.
Yep, exactly. Oh, that was perfect. Ed Smith, did you see that?
Yeah.
Full-on barrel roll, right back on all fours, didn't lose a single second doing it.
So I learned on Tuesday that, that's a great replay if we get a
So here we
chance.
go.
That
Yeah,
was
this is the replay
like
right here. Watch this. This is like all-star level.
That's all-star stuff right there. Robbie Gordon himself would be proud, and then probably try to sue you for stealing
Check this out.
copyright
Check this out. Watch
infringement.
this. And then perfect barrel roll, and right back on all four.
Wow.
Yeah, Ed Smith right there. That is now one of the components in your responsibilities here, Rut, is to help us judge these ramps. Because we will send one ramp to the final, maybe more if the teamwork is really, really good. So as you watch, we can't send them all, but if you notice a couple that are really, working well together, or one like the moving one that you saw that you really liked, if there's one that really stands out as somebody that's doing something worthwhile, let us know and we'll take note, because we will advance one of these ramps to the final. So
Wow, Sean, you're not really one much for participation ribbons, but I appreciate that you're doing that.
Absolutely. So this is our race.
Yeah, this is what we wanted. We
Oh,
do have.
oh, look at that.
But it worked. See, now he's back on his feet.
Oh!
Huh? William Booz being a hell of a teammate there. That was Lance Snyder that he helped out. And then there's Tyler, I think Tyler Tucker. Yeah, so if we look closely at Tyler's truck once it gets going, that looks like it's Ryan's Continental plaid suit with Valvoline colors. That's just perfect.
What's the sponsor on the door? Is it Trading Paints or Trading Pants?
Trading Paints is that is another sponsor of our series, and if you play iRacing, Trading Paints is like a third-party application that you must have, because that's what allows all these cool paint jobs to show up on your cars.
Of course. Thank you to Trading Paints. I was afraid that would encroach on Paul Roddy's new sponsor, Shantz.
No, they're perfectly non-conflicting.
So remember, guys, we're monitoring the chat room. If anybody has any questions for our guests, currently online with Mr. Rutledge Wood, and later will be Mr. Todd Eldredge. So feel free to fire a couple of them off. I saw a couple of questions. One earlier was I think it was a question about ACP's driving talent on Hyperdrive.
ACP is my favorite Canadian, I think. Here's my only beef with ACP. We did a show like Hyperdrive, and he had the only car that I could have driven, and he would not let me. And then insurance was like, oh, no. Yeah, if ACP, he's a stunt coordinator, so if he says no, we can't do it. And I was like, guys, come on. So it's funny. I'm hoping we do another season of Hyperdrive, so I have been building my own. It's kind of like one of these trucks, except without the insane suspension. At Koru Works in Atlanta, we're building a 94 Toyota pickup with a 1JZ GTE twin turbo super swap in it. Oh, what a move there from the Piggly Wiggly truck.
Oh no, Travis Wall landed on all fours, but then he backed into the wall, and he may. Now he's stuck. He's trying to hit the gas.
He's working like a grave digger flip over.
There we go. He got it.
There it is.
Nice.
He's still in it. He only lost one spot.
Awesome.
Now, we need to just give a couple of shout-outs real quick. One of the questions from Chris Bucola, I'll ask in just a second. But first off, Miss Kathy Heckman.
Oh, no.
Is writing in saying she loves the plaid paint job. So It's great to hear from Kathy Heckman from San Bruno, California.
Wow.
Always a pleasure.
Sure.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Sean's mom.
She's a huge Rutledge Wood fan.
Who is it, Sean? That's those two guys on Twitter.
Except for
Now we heard that Chris Bucola asked a question. When are you going to have them send you up here to Road America?
Ooh, I would love to. You and I have been. Was it Road America? No, I'm sorry. Where was on the Power Tour when you got in trouble for doing a burnout in front of a cop? That was
Gateway.
Gateway. Yeah, Road America. So I've been around Road America in a Toyota Sienna minivan on one lap of America, and it is amazing. I love it. I can't wait to go back. So soon would be the answer. Soon, I hope.
Perfect. So
thanks for asking. Great question.
All right. So taking a quick look at what's going on. So Dalen Barr is currently leading. We're at about 10 minutes and 45 seconds into the race. So Dalen taking a chunk out of Lee Lucas's lead. Now, Dalen has historically been really competitive all year. He's missed the last few weeks, but now he's looking as strong as anybody. And you just never know, though. So, Rutledge, do you play Mario Kart with the girls?
Oh, I do.
All right.
We play all the time.
This reminds me a lot of Mario Kart. You know how there's kind of no guarantee? Like, you can be leading by 30 seconds, and then the purple shell comes. And
exactly. That's what. Oh, look at the Dinner with Racers truck. Who is that? He's back.
That was Jason Skeen. He's back in it. He's one lap down.
Basically, it's a Yoshi livery.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that looks like you're acting in the pool, acting up.
Acting up. There you go. Do we know each other? What happened to you?
Jason went
I'm sorry. I haven't left the house in 9 weeks. Can we ask the chat room to just have a quick vote and tell us which Tiny K van license plate is better? Yours is
Acting Up.
Acting Up
ACTY,
on your Honda Acti. Mine on my Suzuki Every all-wheel drive turbo, mind you, is JDM, yo.
Wow.
Which
wow.
No one unless you're a super nerd gets, but
right.
All right, so Jason in that Honda Acti Tribute is one lap down, but there's still plenty to play for. For example, if a yellow were to happen and he got that lap back on that yellow, it'd be game back on.
Big time.
And the skies look blue from where we're looking at, but I hear in turn 12 there might be some rain. Is that what you're hearing, Rutledge?
Yeah, Sean, it's unbelievable. Turn 12. A lot of people there are chanting. A lot of fans are saying, "Hail no, we won't go." Apparently, there could be some hail in the area.
Okay, that sounds dangerous. I think we have to go yellow. I think we have to go yellow because of that hail, based on Rutledge's terrible puns. Let's see. Oh, it looks like we are yellow. We are definitely yellow.
That was for Kathy. So you watch it.
Well, Kathy said she appreciated the shout out, and it looks like, I feel for you, Rut, because you've got great license plate game. Like, you've got some strong license plate energy, but apparently I won the chat room.
on his
Well,
own
big
show.
surprise,
Yeah.
it's your chat room.
Yeah, be surprised. I'm on Netflix. Like,
That's not fair, and you know it.
now, we did have a question. What are you eating?
Oh, I'm having a frozen pizza, which reminds me, it's time to give another sponsor shout out. This one is going to Ricky's Hair Tonic. Dang, Ricky!
I'm gonna go on. I say this with love. I don't know that Kathy Heckman got the reference.
I wrote all of these in the shower. Dang, Ricky! Oh, trouble, turn one.
Okay. One of the questions in the chat room for you, Rut, was what was your favorite episode of Top Gear?
I mean, I wanted to do this, guys, but it was still dinner time.
That's fine. It's on brand. It's on brand. It's on theme.
It's the name of the show.
It's fine.
Spoiler alert, I have a cooking show coming out this summer on Netflix, too, but that's neither here nor there.
What's it called?
I can't tell you.
Okay. Does it have 3 words in it?
Yeah.
And is one of them with? Is it is the middle word with? Rutledge?
Don't you do this.
Don't you do this to us.
Don't you do
this. I just thought, why not have dinner with It's e-racers. It's people that erase graffiti for a living.
Is it called Eating with Drivers, and it's you and Parker?
This is the golf cart I chose this week.
It looks fun.
3 per day.
All right. Very good.
Okay. All right.
Favorite Top Gear episode ever. It's too hard to pick just one. The Snowpocalypse, when we built that jacked up school bus, was incredible.
Yeah.
When we went to Germany to have Tanner Faust is the man, and he's so well connected that they literally shut the Nürburgring down for us for 3 hours, and that is one of the greatest times of my life. It was like living in a video game.
For sure.
Thanks for watching.
Here's a question.
Go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
I was going to say, and this I think I'd like to hear Sean and Rut's answer here, but what is your preferred form of racetrack caffeine to load up for the day?
Ooh. Go ahead, Rut.
I was about to make some really off-color jokes, and then I remembered I had to ask NBC if I could do this, and they're watching.
Okay.
Coffee. Yeah. Coffee is what I enjoy.
Oh, okay.
I'm going with coffee because I don't know why Rutledge can't say anything else, and I'd like to be on NBC one day.
Well, I think he was going to say something else, but Sean, you're a Monster Energy guy,
I am a Monster. I like the blue kind, because it's healthier.
Blue Blast.
Yeah, it's low carb, which means it's good for you.
Right.
Right. Kathy Heckman's a nurse. I'm sure she approves of that.
Right. Okay. Here's a question for Andrew Pritchard. From Andrew Pritchard, good buddy of ours. Which one of us, and it's for Rutledge and I, which one of us drives more on the Power Tour?
Ooh, I want to know that.
Well, it's funny. You tell me. I feel like we both drive a ton, but if there's ever a chance when Ryan and I get to ride together, what I can say is that there's not a lot of race car drivers that trust other people to drive, but Ryan trusts me to drive, and I take that with a lot of pride.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, and the Power Tour is awesome because you get to drive some really cool stuff, and sometimes that stuff is old stuff, and old stuff doesn't have things like air conditioning necessarily. And you're generally driving around in the middle of the summer, and it's brutally hot. So I remember you brought I think it was your 67 Camaro that you got from Need for Speed one year.
68, yes.
68, and then you brought your Fundra, and you were like, hey, I don't know about you, but tomorrow, why don't we take the Fundra because it's got air conditioning? I was like, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that all day.
Yeah, Mama didn't raise no fool. The coolest thing about the Power Tour is that, Continental Tire will show up with a Petty's Garage built Buick Regal with 600 horsepower and hand you the keys. I'll bring some crazy stuff. But usually it's in the dead of summer and you're moving at slow speeds through these small towns, which is the best. And sometimes kids will yell in Ryan's ear, do a burnout.
To interrupt, for those, we've talked about it on the podcast many times, but for those who don't know what the Power Tour is, it's basically a collection of classic cars, usually towards the muscle car realm. And you guys go on a week-long road trip across different stops in the Midwest.
Exactly. It's like an 80-mile-per-hour parade. And
Right.
it's some of the coolest people we've ever met. Old stuff, new stuff, whatever. But it really is. And honestly, we've seen crazy stuff. We've seen a Dodge Dart with a 2JZ Super Swap in it.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that one?
I forgot about that.
You see a little bit of everything, but it is the most fun. I hope we can both make it in the fall when they run it. Because our buddy Tony Stewart was going to go with us this year. It's going to be the three of us.
Yeah.
Ain't going back to the mill. Shout out.
God bless it.
Ain't going back.
Loving the
Please put me back.
loving the upside down text here on Ben Cox.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sean, I'm going to send you a text message real quick, but another question for Rutledge, and I know you just added a couple of projects I want to talk to you about, but what is your current car count up to?
Who asked that?
I believe it was my friend Andrew Barca.
Andrew, that's none of your business.
Wow. That's code
Just
for
kidding.
the wife is here.
Well, I get, what's the right way to put this? I am a sucker for a Craigslist chase. There is nothing that is more exciting to me than hearing, hey, there's an 86 Toyota van for $600 and we should go get it right now. So I have tried to thin the herd a bit lately. I had to give the van away that I bought for $600 to my friend Kirby from the Kenwood Rod Shop. Of course, Ryan, Randy and the crew over there built my RWB, the LS3 powered Porsche Abomination. And if you don't like it, don't think for a minute that I care about that. But it is the most fun car I've ever had. Kirby worked his tail off on it, so I gave Kirby the 86 Toyota Van Wagon parts van that I bought for my 84, which is running like a dream, and it turns out I didn't need any parts for it. So let's just say just right. My number is just right.
I like this question from Stephen Moore. What's the worst car purchase you've ever made?
Oh. I mean, if we're honest, oh gosh, look at this truck. Oh, thanks for trying to get the 22 back over. Who's driving that Hart truck again, guys?
That's our buddy William Booz, but you have to say it like you're straight out of Germany. William Booz?
William Booz? What a good guy.
Yeah, he is a good guy. We partied with him at VIR last year.
Ryan knows because he's from Georgia also. We have this thing in Georgia called the Hope Scholarship that the lottery will pay for your college, your in-state tuition if you get a B average in high school or better. I convinced my parents to basically use the money they would have saved on college to buy me a car. And then I wanted a 98 Integra Type R.
Mm-hmm. My man.
I ended up with a 97 Ford Thunderbird LX, and it was the worst car I ever owned.
Well, and you aim for the stars, but you absolutely didn't make it off the ground.
Nope, I was definitely that thing where I couldn't get my dad. He wouldn't believe he's like, but it's like a stripped out car. Like air conditioning is $800.
Back to the race, by the way. I don't know if you noticed, but the entire field just stacked up on the restart.
What?
Yeah, they're all stuck.
Yeah, this is the restart right here.
It looks like a plane crash.
I'm so sorry, we got lost there.
That's okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's not good.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, well, the racing is still going.
I wish I could have driven one of these. Oh, gosh. Whoa, can you... Ooh.
I keep trying to tell them they need to bring the Continental truck to SEMA so we can drive it around the little drift track they set up so you and I can just go out there and just mess around.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be so fun. I wish... Have y'all been able to get... can you run monster trucks on anything?
I don't think iRacing has that lined up yet.
The closest to monster trucks is what you're looking at right now. What's the Pro 2 and Pro 4 trucks?
Okay, I was invited by Dennis Anderson to come to his kind of playground in North Carolina, and I just want y'all to know that will probably be second to being a father, the greatest thing I ever did with my life, because monster trucks, what Monster Jam has done in the last 10 years. I mean, the Anderson family alone, how they've upped the bar, but I just want y'all to know, watching these, it just makes me want to get in one of these at SEMA with Ryan and then get in the monster.
Well, and the experience is probably nowhere close, but on a somewhat related note, Ryan and I who never had met Robbie Gordon prior to when we visited him in 2017. We did our podcast with him. We showed up at his shop to set up for our podcast. And Ryan, how long were we in his shop?
Well, I'd say we were in his shop for maybe like 9 minutes.
Yeah, and I'd go actually maybe like 2 minutes. I mean, we barely walked through the door, and he's like, "Cool, hop in."
Yeah.
And we both got rides through his little test ground that he has outside of his shop in this new sport ATV he had, and it was one of the coolest experiences to be driven by Robbie Gordon on this crazy jumpy track that he has basically kind of outlined around his parking lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at this. Did you see that was like a mid-air corkscrew?
Yeah, let's see how Ed Smith goes through it. Is he slow enough? Oh, so
Got
Ed,
lucky.
Ed got lucky there. So there is a trick, and I would be honest to say that I have no idea how they do this. Uh-oh. That didn't work out.
That truck is in reverse going over the car.
Some of the trucks have figured out there seems to be like a programming hole with some of these GTPs, that if you hit them at just the right spot, you can go through them as opposed to over them, which is obviously the safest way to do it. But I have no idea how they're doing it or what they have figured out.
Hey, shout out to Robbie Gordon for putting y'all in those. Robbie was one of my favorite people to interview when he was still around NASCAR, because he's just one of these guys that always believed he could do it better himself and on his own. And it's hard not to dig that kind of vibe.
Uh-huh.
But man, he's that kind of guy that if you said like, "Oh man, I want to get in one of these," he's like, "Cool, here's the keys."
Yeah.
Oh, that's literally it.
Yeah, that's exactly what the experience has been so far. And I mean, obviously, Ryan, you've turned it up a notch by doing the truck drives with him. But I mean, just that to have been in his shop for less than 10 minutes and already get a thrill ride was like, wow, this is life with Robbie Gordon.
Yeah, and the best part was that the suspension wasn't completely fixed when he got done taking us for laps.
Yeah.
And basically the steering rack wasn't connected. It was together, but it wasn't bolted together.
Barely holding on. Yeah.
And we're like jumping off of loading docks. He's got you up on 2 wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he didn't realize the steering was about to disconnect itself, because he figured it was secured, but didn't actually know.
Yeah, and when he brought it back in, one of his guys that works for him was like, "Did you just take that out?" And he looked like a little kid that got in trouble. And he's like, "Yeah, why?" And he's like, "The steering rack's not connected, man." And then they like both looked at us like, "You guys are cool, right?" Like, you're not gonna.
You guys
you're
okay?
You're not gonna tell mom, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
yeah,
tell Continental.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, it was awesome.
Guys, tell me who's driving that 64 truck.
So the 64 truck is Lee Lucas. He is currently leading by quite a bit. He's got a 9-second lead over your boy Paul Roddy. That is a Simpsons tribute, which has been a kind of recurring theme on all of his trucks that he's been running. But Lee has been so we've been doing dumb races on iRacing actually since last year with our first season of this called the DWR Continental Cup. And Lee has been part of all of it basically since day one. He's been one of our most loyal participants. And the dude's fast. I mean, it shows right here. Just in a Pro 4 truck with ramps all around it. We're 2-3 laps out of from a yellow, and he's already got an 8-second lead on everybody. So Lee's looking really strong. But the way these races work, there could be another yellow. Looking at the radar.
Yeah, a lot on the line here.
Exactly. And with the ramps, you just never know how they might throw things off, or just traffic. From is that William Booz right there?
Yeah, William Booz is trying to stay in the lead lap here, I believe, and he just lost it right there. So he actually might be a couple laps down. So never mind. He's just being a pain in the ass anyway, because he is 3 laps down.
Yeah. Now, and I don't think we'll do it to Lee Lucas, right? But we have had it. Oh wow, perfectly split. Oh no!
Got it.
That was William.
Look at him! Oh
no!
Wheelie,
Yeah, let's cut back to some of the ramps there. It looks like that's quite the obstacle. So, Marco, I don't know if you're able to navigate your way to some of the GTP cars, but it looks like they've got it pretty well figured out. But there we go. Yeah, look at this. Look at this.
Ryan, update.
Go ahead.
It did look like there was no line at the portalette, so if you need to use the bathroom, now's a perfect time to go.
It's good to know. There we go.
Well, with the social distancing, we've decided to let the fans stay at home.
Good. Well, except those two.
Yeah. Well, they're. I can't finish the joke. Did you see the thing that happened in Korea this week? In South Korea?
No.
I like where it's going, but it may be the end of our careers.
Well, yeah. Just Google South Korea baseball crowd.
Oh, right. I did read about that. And I'd actually thought about that kind of concept. I don't think I ever told you about it. I was like, it would be funny. And then apparently South Korea's like, yeah, but let's do that for real, though.
Yeah, right.
I saw a woman in Florida was at a bar and was kissing strangers and then called 911. I think she might have been rejected by somebody and then called 911 to say that the bar wasn't properly socially distancing.
I think there's almost 11 minutes left. I think there's rain. I think there's rain out in turn 12 again. If there's time, Tyler, I think there might be rain. I think we need to go yellow.
Let me check,
if
guys.
we've got time. It's right
Sean,
on the
we've
cusp.
got boots on the ground. It is, in fact, a light precipitation in turn 12.
Okay, if we have time, I think we might go yellow. We are
is
yellow.
unfortunate.
It means we're going to have a dash to the finish with 4 minutes to go. It also means that the guys who are a lap down, if we can do it without delaying the yellow, the guys who are a lap down will get that lap back.
Yeah, but you got to go.
Yeah, they got it. Well, they'll have to get the wave by and all that.
Right, but once you get it, go.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, guys. The highs and lows, it's like Darlington. Weather's coming. You're not sure when. It could be in turn 12. We might have made it up. You never know.
Exactly. Oh, wow. He's letting him know that he's not happy.
Aggressive.
Tyler Tucker. He's like, I got to get around because I need to get my lap back. He's probably in a mad dash to get his lap back and get caught up because, we want to make sure we finish under green. So if we get in a spot where it's looking tight to be able to finish under green, we will not have wave arounds. We'll just we'll just run with the guys that are on the lead lap. So so Tyler, who's doing the admin duties, he's going to have to look at that very closely and basically say like, yeah, I think we can pull it off and get everybody a wave by, or no, it's going to take too much time and we cannot finish our semifinal under yellow.
Guys, question here: who chose the outfits for the pit crew? Because I'm pretty sure I saw overalls.
There's a few different folks. I'm trying to think of who has. We have a special driver's view cam, and there's a few folks that have some pretty special driver suits on, but I don't remember who they are. There's a Nicky Lauda tribute. We'll keep scrolling.
Yeah.
So Marco will just kind of keep going through some of these options here. A little
There's Chase
Elliott.
Elliott.
Exactly. We'll keep going. There's a few awesome ones. There's some Lederhosen and a shirtless guy.
Brendan Gaughan.
Oh, South Point.
John
Shout out.
Cantu. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
And looks like we don't have Robert. We'll keep going. Noah Wheeler in a spacesuit. Dalen Barr. Devin Peters. Looks like we may have lost connection to him.
Ryan, have you driven one of the
keep
trucks
going.
on iRacing?
Yeah. Actually, I practiced on a rig with them last year, and having driven the real one and now driven these, it's pretty close. I'd say the biggest thing, because these are on a road course, so they're not running the off-road settings for the jumping. Other than the jumping, it seems like it's pretty good because, like the Robbie Gordon trucks, when they land, they take the landing way better than these do. So I think that's probably the only difference. But otherwise, it felt exactly the same.
That's so wild, man. I always, when I watched you in that thing, it's so gnarly.
There we go.
When I'd see him run at Long Beach, and you always see, oh, look at that. That's
Dinesh
a great
right
helmet.
Yeah, that's Dinesh Ramasar who was running this in our practice race, and that helmet is going to live in my nightmares.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like Denny Hamlin's mask at Darlington.
Exactly.
Yesterday.
Yeah, and that's Scott Dixon.
There's Scott Dixon. That's good to see him.
Yeah, little known fact, Scott Dixon actually runs anonymously as Tyler Hoffman. That's in fact Scott Dixon. I don't want to out him,
right?
But that is in fact Scott Dixon.
Right.
Because if there's one thing I know, is that Scott Dixon would run under a pseudonym, but then run his own helmet.
Right. Well, he's a man of many mysteries. Scott Dixon is featured today on Honda's social media accounts with his personal Honda Ridgeline, and tomorrow I will be featured on Honda's social media accounts with Yoshi.
Nice.
All right.
Check that out. So that's cool. Hey, another thing that just happened, we just posted our Thursday Night Blunder t-shirt.
Oh, do we have that? I don't think I have a graphic I can show, but maybe we'll show one during the break.
Can you describe it? Is it cotton? Is it button down?
It's a t-shirt, and it is it's a button up, actually. It's just the bottom half buttons.
Yeah.
Does that work for you?
You happy now?
Yeah. Did that
You
go
know,
the way you
you
thought?
know what that would go great with, that shirt?
Go ahead.
Shants. When shorts aren't enough, and pants are too much. Shants. Shants. The brand that fits, sort of.
If you go over to our Twitter account right now, and this will be posted up again later, and Sean will post a picture of it. It's very simple. We wanted to do a basic logo shirt, and the idea behind the shirt is you guys committed to this season-long entrants, a lot of fans. It's just a limited time run. We're not going to make that many of them, but we know you guys have loved this, and we've loved it.
Yep.
And so it's basically just a schedule and more of a commemorative thing. So my goal when I was talking to Sean about this shirt was like a year from now, if someone comes up to us at a racetrack wearing a Thursday Night Blunder shirt, it'll be like, yeah, you were in the know.
You were in the thick of it. I was in the suck. You know.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
You get me.
I do think we'll donate the Dinner with Racers side of the proceeds. We will donate to a cause of our choice, but we've yet to identify what we want to do with that just yet. Like we can always go to something like Kieran F with Jack. We'd like to donate to maybe a COVID cause with the proceeds that come from it, at least on our cut.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yes.
No, you cannot. What if we use some of the proceeds to sponsor that guy from the track in Dover that you guys had the tiny sticker on his car before?
Andre Anderson. He's our guy. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Fan favorite. I mean, as someone that watched the show and loved it,
yep.
Amazon Prime,
it's maybe not necessarily the COVID cause we're thinking, but still a good cause.
Yeah.
It's a great call.
Where lights are out, by the way. We're about to go green. We will have 5 minutes left. We've got just a little bit of a straightaway here. The pace car will duck on off to pit lane. And then we will have 5 minutes to get this thing done. Lee Lucas now with just a tiny lead over Davis Trask. But you just never know where these prototype ramps are going to show up. What do you think, Rutledge?
I think I might have a pickle soon, Sean, but that's really unrelated to what's going on. This is so exciting, though.
Would that be a Grillo's Pickles?
Yes!
Oh, no. Who is that? That's Ed Smith. Was Ed Smith in the thing? Oh, Ed Smith was on the lead lap.
Yeah.
And so that does matter because that top 10 right there, Travis Wall, we're watching the battle for 10th. This is the cutoff right here. Travis Wall in that Piggly Wiggly truck is in the cutoff spot. So
Robert
he needs to make it through. Go ahead.
Robert Hibby just had a big one, too, all by himself, and now he's coming back, and he's about to hit his buddy.
Got him.
Yeah, nice job there. But Robert was in the top 10 going into turn 2, and he's found himself back there in 11th, just outside of the cutoff here. So a good friend of the show, but obviously drama mounting. Only 5 to 6 minutes left, and the top 10 is right in front of him for the cutoff spot.
And I don't know what that was in front of them. I don't know if that was for positioner guys that were a lap down, but they should be...
Ooh.
Yeah, it's interesting. It should be catching up to the prototypes pretty soon here, so that'll be the other element. Lee Lucas comfortably moving forward. He's now got a 3-second gap in just one lap, so Lee looking very strong for the win. But again, the win isn't going to count a whole lot because it's really anybody in the top 10 is going to advance to next week's final. Oh, Lane Walker there. Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
That's a huge stack up. That's Alex Albert.
That is one of the slowest turns on the track, and they've managed to have a massive crash there without GTP cars.
And Alex just slipped outside of the top 10 by doing that, so it's back to Robert Hibby now in the transfer spot. Oh, no. Alex Albert, his day went from bad to worse.
Oh, Alex, the prince.
Here we go. Notice how Lee Lucas is just going, could not go slow enough. And
oh, no!
And he's lost the lead. He lost the lead. James Trask. Go ahead.
James Trask's been strong all year.
Oh,
whoa!
And who is that? Because that's going to screw him up. So this is for the top 10. Here we go.
This is how you win a championship, Sean.
This is how you advance to the final. Is you need to land on all 4 wheels.
That truck is over the wall.
Yep.
Yeah,
so he's going to have to get a tow. That's it. Oh no! Here we go. Here we go. Goodness. What is going on? Man, it's like 1 for 5 making it. So it's like anybody's guess.
GTP cars.
These ramps are getting it done.
Now, these guys are really blocking the road, which is all I wanted in life. And you got more backup coming. But this is literally like watching a little kid throw his toy cars against the wall. Yeah.
Now, Rutledge, I will remind you, we still have to pick a ramp when this is all over. So if any of these ramps stand out to you as far as guys that are doing an awesome job, let us know.
Oh,
like that right there was pretty perfect.
They're so good and their coordination is so impressive.
All right, so now this is now for the lead. Exactly. Lee Lucas trying to get it done on Davis Trask. Meanwhile, Noah Wheeler now 13 seconds up on Alex Albert in the transfer position. There's Noah all on his own, so if Noah can just be patient, he's in good state. We'll probably have about 3 laps to go, maybe 2.
Yeah, it's getting down to it. And interestingly enough, these races seem to keep turning into real races. This is a good battle for the lead, and it's not supposed to be. These are supposed to be dumb. And this is great. Good side-by-side battling here. And as we saw last time, two drastically different approaches. Davis Trask came in, foot to the wood, flying through the air. Lee Lucas just rolled over the GTP cars to try to keep the thing going. So curious to see what's going to happen here at the start-finish line.
Are they still there? Are they still there? Looks like they are. Look at them both slowing down. Davis has definitely been more aggressive. Let's see what happens here.
It's not just one. It's several lines of them.
Wow, this is amazing.
Look at them all going slow. Nice. Man.
Wow, Lee Lucas, look at that move.
Lee got the best side of that deal.
Yeah,
Davis
Paul Roddy with a good run through.
Yep.
Dalen Barr still in it.
I feel like this is not a group of people who've been taught when in doubt, throttle out. This is definitely not their mentality here in these cars.
These are what we call regular people.
Yeah. All right, P10, still Noah Wheeler, but Noah's 40 seconds back, so he hasn't gotten to that whole schmozzle yet. So if we can cut back to like Brandon Garage or any of the GTPs, let's see what's going on. Yeah, this is for the transfer spot. Let's see who's coming through here.
Yeah, Noah's upside down.
Is that Noah?
Yeah,
yeah. There's
down.
but there in the back. That's Alex Albert, so he's not going to come through either. Noah's stuck. Who is that in the 23 car? The 23 car is going to advance now to the top 10. Who is that? I can't tell.
A lot going on here.
Yeah, I can't tell who's going what, but that's Alex Albert way back there stuck.
Okay, there's a pass for position. Noah's still hanging on here.
Well, he might have just crossed the timing line upside
down. Yeah, I think
down.
he's stuck there. As soon as he crosses, I think he's going to fall way down the order.
Yeah, so that 44 car is Noah.
If anyone at home is wondering, this is exactly why Continental made the terrain contact tire for.
That was a perfect time to cut off. Did we lose?
Yeah, you got that.
It's your home. Anyway.
Perfect.
Is he talking to anybody? Or?
I don't. We lost you just at the pitch, unfortunately. But buy Continental Tire. That's your message.
Really good.
Yeah, I believe it. All right.
It's the terrain contact.
We are at a lap time. The checkered flag is out.
Yeah, here
this
we go.
is going to be it. Lee Lucas, is he going to cross the finish line in first? Can he make it? Oh, gosh. Is he going to make it? Oh, he's right on the... Oh, he got tagged, but he made it. He made it.
Yes.
He made it. Let's see where the cutoff is.
Yeah,
so Jacob Witcher is now.
Here.
Let's stay here. Jacob Witcher currently in the cutoff spot. That's Jacob Witcher right there. This is for P10.
Okay, no one around him.
He's safe. He just has to go smooth.
Oh.
Okay, that might have been a disconnection. There we go. Here's Travis Wall. That's for P7.
Oh,
he made it. He crosses the line.
Nice job.
Here's Tyler Tucker, P8. This is to advance to the final, so Tyler will be okay if he can get through the line.
Big understeer there coming through the corner.
Let's see what happens.
Come on, trading pants and paints.
Jesus.
Here we go. Tyler Tucker coming up.
Coming to it.
Through
big
the maze.
speed.
Through the maze. Oh, no. Did he cross?
He's not.
Did he?
Oh,
He's okay. He's going to make it. He's fine. He did it. All right. Alex Albert is on his roof. He's not going to cross. And
he might land it. He might land it.
Oh, he's on his all fours now. Alex Albert is going to cross. P9. Where's Jacob Witcher? Is Jacob Witcher going to finish? It looks like we've been disconnected. There's
Witcher.
Jacob right there.
He's rolling across the line, Sean. He might not get tipped over.
Oh, no. He's on his roof. Where's Ed Smith?
GTP car.
Where's Ed Smith? Oh, no. That's Ed Smith. Ed Smith might get to the final if he can, because Jacob Witcher is on his roof.
Yeah.
He's not going to cross. If Ed Smith can... Oh, no, Ed! Did he do it? Did he make it, though? He floored it.
I don't know if he made it.
He did. He did. He crossed the finish line. He's up at a 150. Ed Smith. Ed Smith is going to the final.
Everybody.
Ed Smith is going to go to the final. Jacob Witcher on his roof, 4 inches from the finish line. That's going to do it.
Oh, man.
Wow, that was everything.
That was,
that
exactly all I wanted.
Full send right there.
That was perfect. That was the finish we were hoping for. Congratulations to Lee Lucas, Davis Trask, John Cantu, Dalen Barr, Paul Roddy, Lane Walker, Travis Wall, Tyler Tucker, Alex Albert, and Ed Smith with that last gasp gunning it.
Yeah.
They will advance. And we're 7 minutes out from the next race.
Yeah, this is going great. Getting all sorts of love in the chat room. The best part is when a driver in our series finishes and then messages us right away going, ha 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 ha.
All right. Well, we can't.
I can't say the abbreviation, but if you're not sure what full ham is, that was what that 10th place did. That
Full
was
ham?
Full ham.
Nice.
That was glorious.
All right, well, we got to get going to the next race, believe it or not. But Rutledge, we promised we would select a ramp. We don't have to declare it right this second. If you want to maybe canoodle it, or we can discuss after. But is there
Can
any?
I tell you my favorite?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the 28. It was the Honda 28.
The Honda 28 ramp. Okay, we'll take a look at who that is. I don't quite remember, but the Honda 28 ramp.
I'm fairly certain they carried someone over the start finish.
Oh, there you
That
go.
one, is that it?
Okay,
Oh.
so you like
Yeah.
how? So this is who is this?
Mark
Kaufman. Okay, so you liked how Mark Kaufman helped out, made teamwork make the dream work.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Guys, that was incredible. Shout out to all the racers and Paul Roddy, especially. Oh, come on, the animated adventures of Uncle Bobby.
Yep.
I'm gonna
That's our
get a frozen turkey.
That's so good.
All right. Well, Rutledge, we can't thank you enough for taking the time to do this. Any final thoughts before we get going?
Guys, had a great time. I just want to thank again Ricky's Hair Tonic. Dang, Ricky. And Chance, when shorts aren't enough and pants are too much. Chance. And Grillos. I love you guys. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to teach you all about the updates to eRacing that we installed a few weeks ago. And we will be right back with Race 2 and world champion figure skater / ramp judge, Todd Eldredge.
So about that eRacing.
Now, no doubt since we launched eRacing 1 year ago, the platform has gained tremendous momentum in recent weeks. But we're not just ones to just leave it there.
So just to recap, eRacing, launched in 2019, has become the most realistic simulator in the business. Sure, other simulations might boast about their physics model or their wide range of cars, but eRacing is the only simulation that contains features like riding the tow truck all the way back, having to face your crew when you arrive, concerned texts from your family or friends after you crash, not being allowed to race until the money clears, having to walk the paddock when you're out of money, and of course, making sure you have the perfect excuse to quit.
For some reason in the last couple of weeks, eRacing has enjoyed explosive growth, and especially from professional racers who all of a sudden started signing up. So with that in mind, we have custom tailored our next round of updates exclusively for pro racers who now have a lot of time on their hands.
That's why we welcome you to eRacing Update 2.0. As a driver myself, I know just how hard it can be to make the transition into virtual racing. The first thing you'll notice is, man, some of these virtual racers are fast. Like crazy fast, right? And if there's one thing I know about sports car racing, it's that if you're not fast enough, that's just not fair. And that's why eRacing is the first to introduce virtual driver ratings. That's right. Now, in order to get your eRacing license, you'll have to send in your application to the FEA, which is a dedicated software group in Europe who pays no attention to American sim racing whatsoever, but it gives us a good wall to hide behind when our clients are upset.
Now, driver ratings may sound like something that could make virtual racing more complicated, but at eRacing, we tried to make a driver rating system that was very clear and very easy to understand because we agree it is not fair that pros have to race against amateurs that are much faster than them.
First, there's the new eRacing color system. It's very simple to understand. We assign a color that's based on your experience and your talent. Top sim racers will be rated as barn red. Good drivers will be rated as blood red. Decent drivers will be rated as cardinal red. And those needing more experience, crimson.
Now, if this sounds confusing, don't worry. We've put a lot of thought into making this easy. Top drivers are super clear. If you drive for a top sim racing team, if you still live with your parents, if you've never talked to a girl, and if you're Max Verstappen, you are barn red. If you're over 22, however, you're automatically downgraded to blood red. Now let's say you're okay, but you have a real job. Then chances are you'll be rated as cardinal. Cardinal rated drivers have a job, have some sense of social life, understand that this is supposed to be fun, and likely never speak on the eRacing radio. And finally, there's crimson. To become Crimson, it's very simple. Just get yelled at by everyone else who doesn't understand that it's supposed to be fun, and that also your sense of self-worth isn't based on driving a racing game.
Oh, you f***ing donkey. If you just drove back online like that, you'd be dead, wouldn't you? And the world would be a better place.
Also, if you're Ray Alfala, you're just not invited.
Wait, what?
Now, when it comes to pro drivers trying to make the transition to virtual racing, everyone at eRacing knows that driving is only a part of it. Our first feature is eRacing's new walking interview. Are you so mad after an e-race that you can't possibly be bothered to stop, actually speak to a reporter, and represent your sponsors properly? No problem. With eRacing's Angry Interview feature, you can just keep walking while the media burdens you with trying to do their job.
Guys, I guess they're too mad to talk. Back to you up in the booth.
Everyone at eRacing understands the value of social media, so that's why in our new update, we've added several new features that show you're putting in the work. Now, you're not really a pro racer unless you take 15 shots of yourself at your home gym, and that's why with eRacing, we've built the same feature right into the simulation. With our InstaGym app, your avatar never stops showing the world how you're totally race ready. Still referring to your race cars in office? We got you covered. As soon as you log in, we'll automatically upload photos of your sim rig so that everyone sees your new office. Now, if you want to look like you have a personality on our eRacing platform, but you're not sure how, well, we have a new feature. It's called ePup. With ePup, even if you don't have a personality, our virtual dog will give you something to post about constantly, even if you're really not that interesting. We've even developed this with some of the most benign in the business, like NASCAR winner Alex Bowman.
EPUB? Come on!
Or why not get private coaching from the master himself, Simon Pageant?
Wait. Is that why you wanted us on the video?
Now, our new features don't just stop with driving. eRacing 2.0 also has brand new PR and broadcast updates as well.
With eRacing's new trade show feature, for those trying to get into driving, we've added a new plugin that allows you to virtually walk any major trade show just so you can feel like you're in the scene. We'll even tweet for you with such posts as hanging out with my bros at some generic wraps company, or simply making it look like you're a VIP at a party that really anyone can get into.
And don't worry, just like real trade shows, when a new driver shows up in an eRacing trade show, it's still pointless. Finally, it's not modern sim racing unless there's a broadcast component. And with the recent explosion of sim race broadcasts everywhere, eRacing has also got you covered.
Luckily, eStockCar has actually been ahead of the game for years, having been involved with their own league, broadcast, and completely adopting the virtual space. eStockCar is way ahead of the game, and if you enjoy eRacing's style of stock car racing, you will not be disappointed with their broadcast component. For fans of eOpenWheel, we're definitely making progress. With plenty of great broadcasts both for European and American open wheel racing, the people in charge are definitely making the right steps to adopt this.
Now, for fans of eSports car, don't worry. Senior management is currently putting together an analysis plan in which they can do a data review and then put together an executive subcommittee who will hopefully analyze and then put together an action strategy. Wholesale approach with a global view, but also one that's rooted in grassroots, which, pending further review, will then decide what the best course of action to present to the leadership team might be. And at
Dude, I still have to work in sports car racing. Now, just like real racing, we've noticed that the current racing shutdown has given many racers a new excuse not to just quit the sport, but also humble complain. With our new eCovid feature, you can now say you've had a big deal cooking, but the shutdown screwed it all up, whether it was true or not. Implement the use of fansplaining, where you pretend to educate the people in the name of advertising how you're out of work. Or why not utilize our new humble complaint option, where you use the opportunity to complain when it's really just an opportunity to show how successful you are. tow truck rides, walking the paddock, gym selfies,
broadcasts, middle management, pointless trade shows. Whether you liked our first version or our new updated second version, we have it all.
eRacing, the ultimate in realism.
We're on a road trip. And we are back. It is race 2 after a phenomenal race 1. We're already in qualifying for this next one. Ryan, what did you think?
I thought that went as exactly to plan. We literally did testing to make sure this would be funny and dumb like this, and it worked out really well. So as far as I'm concerned, that was a great race, and it looks like a lot of the competitors that were in that race have gone to the chat room and let us know how much fun they had. So I'd say job well done.
Awesome, and congrats to our top 10 who all will advance to the World Final Round next week. And, of course, also Mark Kaufman, who by Rutledge was selected as the best ramp we could have had in race 1. So speaking of people that know about how to win when it comes to judging, people who know how to play the politics, people who know how to really just do the acrobatics involved, we have Todd Eldredge with us, world champion figure skater, 3-time Olympian, 6-time U.S. national champion. Todd, why are you here?
Because this looks way too fun not to be involved with.
Awesome. So you've been driving basically all of our season so far.
Yeah. No, it's been a blast. I mean, from putting the cars together and, just getting on track and just having a good time and having a blast. And definitely low stress as far as what's going on the track.
I was about to say, because a lot of times we'll bring on some of our celebrity co-drivers who've been racing with us in different races, and they'll over-prepare and put in time and ask about setups. And you've learned kind of the hard way that, it doesn't matter because you're going to get wrecked 4 laps in. So
exactly.
you should just enjoy it. So now, if you weren't doing this with us, you'd probably want to be out on track. Are you happier to be in the spot you're in now, or would you rather be out on track?
No, actually, I'm happy to be doing this. It's kind of fun. It's on track is fun and it's great, and doing your thing and stuff. But this is kind of a little bit more exciting, watching all the carnage that was happening as the ramps were lining them up.
Ooh, and that right there, that is Aspen Belvin. We'll take a look at Aspen's car during the race, or we can do it now. So if we look at the profiles,
that's awesome.
Actually, Todd, do you get this reference?
Yeah.
This is Ryan. You and I loved this the first time we saw it. What are we looking at?
This is the Mutt Cuts van that's been wrapped onto one of the trucks here in iRacing. Our buddy Aspen Belvin, who's had some great liveries all year, but he debuted this, I believe, at our Trucks on Trucks race at Martinsville, and we immediately were like, that is genius. What a awesome idea, great execution, and we're big fans of this one.
Absolutely. So we are just about to wrap out qualifying here. Tanner Witten looks like he's got the quick time, actually by a couple seconds, over Patrick Lindsay. That is Trading Paint Patrick Lindsay, not IMSA Patrick Lindsay. Justin Parcher, P3, with 4.5 seconds back from him. And then Christian Abbott, who's trying to not end up on his roof, and he's going to end up on his roof. Interesting.
Yeah, early days for that kind of behavior. You got to kind of figure that out, and hopefully it doesn't happen later on, because as we saw, some really good names did not make the transfer. And like that GTP car is doing right now, they don't have to help you out. So he's doing them a solid.
Yeah, absolutely. And also worth noting, I think on this race we might have the time of day settings a little bit wrong because the sun is setting and it's still a 40-minute race ahead. So hopefully we can still see it as time goes on. But we'll still have the headlights. So it should be an interesting day. All right,
across.
On to the race. Oh, wow, that sun is setting.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, uh-oh. Well, it's anybody's guess.
Yeah, first night race at Detroit. I like it.
We'll see what happens. All right, so Tanner Witten on pole, Patrick Lindsay P2, Justin Parcher P3, Christian Abbott P4, Jacob Campbell rounding out the top 5, and so on. And again, winning this race, not nearly as important as finishing in the top 10, where you will be able to advance to next week's World Final. Now, we haven't spelled a whole lot of details about the World Final, but it will be a 2-class race, Ryan. We've got amateurs and we've got pros. And one of those pros is actually going to be Todd Eldredge. So go ahead.
No, I was just going to back up what you said. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun race. We're pretty sure the drafting is going to work really well between both classes, actually. So kind of like we saw at Talladega, there were guys down on the apron in their little Legends cars, and they were doing their thing. And then you had big cars on the oval. And that's kind of what we're going to see again at Indy.
Exactly. All right. So with the sun setting, which might have been by accident, we're going to have an interesting race ahead of us, and we'll be going green anytime. Todd, any thoughts?
Well, I think it should definitely be a little more interesting if the sun does go down and then the cars can't really see. If maybe the GTPs could turn their lights off and then they can't see them at all.
Ooh,
that would be interesting. We'll see what happens. I don't know that they can control it, and
I don't know if they can either. But
yeah,
it would be interesting if they could.
But we also are in the business of making fantastic streams to our millions of viewers. So
right.
So we want to make sure it's not a completely dark screen. So we'll see what happens, but we should be going green here any minute. And we'll turn the sound up for that. Gearing up. Got a lot of Continental trucks.
Yeah, I think they had a couple of them in the last race, a couple of them in this one. Justin Parcher from the Portland, Oregon area out here looking good, P3 in qualifying.
Here we go. So we should see the lights come on any second here. There we go.
Yep.
There we go.
Nice.
Side-by-side action into turn one. These guys are not messing around. Smaller field at the beginning. They've already separated it in text.
All right, now, if you remember, Lee Lucas had a Simpsons theme on his pole-sitting car, and Tanner Whitten also with the Simpsons theme. They kind of run as pseudo teammates. And look at Patrick Lindsay trying to get it done. And usually when we go towards the midfield, that's usually where the chaos happens, right around here into the tricky turn 3.
Yeah, it looks like we had a much cleaner start this time, but somebody did get up on two wheels back there. And I do like that we're seeing some variance in track limits and lines that we didn't see in the first race as much. So these guys are obviously already trying to take advantage of what these off-road trucks can handle, as we do have a truck on its roof back there, and we're seeing the GTP cars getting themselves into position.
Yeah, they're already wrecking people. We're not even one lap in, so that's a good start. Is that Santiago Iglesias? Oh no, Santi has been a regular fixture of this series all last 8 weeks, and things are not boding well for him. Here we go. Now it gets interesting.
Yeah, we got our full field of GTP ramps getting set up here. These guys look like they've really figured out some stuff, and I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of damage they can do. But Santiago Iglesias, as you mentioned, not off to a good start. Probably going to have to hope for some yellows later on as it gets darker and darker here in Detroit.
Now, Todd, I'm going to remind you, as we have alluded to throughout the broadcast, these ramps are, of course, what you're here to judge. So we didn't have any criteria. We didn't tell you what to judge for. What are the things that you're going to look for when deciding which of these ramps does the best job?
Well, after watching the first race a little bit, I like, some of the guys, like you said, doing them a solid, flipping them back over. That was some good stuff.
Oh, that didn't work out.
That's gone. See you later. He's in the trees.
Did you see the spark that came with it?
Right.
There it goes. So Tanner Whitten went right around it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can't remember who it was, but
this is
there
a
was
terrible
one guy
ramp.
that came over the ramp, did a full flip to the side spin, and landed and kept going. That was amazing.
Yeah, isn't that spectacular? And here's where it gets interesting. Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, Muck Nuts flying through the air.
Oh, no. All right, well, the first 6 had figured out they could go around to the side, but it all changed when it looked like somebody had to go too wide down the straight and had no choice but to run through the ramp. And that's that. Now Matt Murphy.
Looks pretty good there.
Yeah.
Now, we had a request early on. I was waiting for the race to get started as we see Jeffrey Collinson doing a nice something that Todd Eldredge doesn't know the name of. But the request was for Todd to make up names of figure skating moves to see if we know the difference, or the fans would know the difference.
You're about to say, I'm going to have to bow out.
Yeah.
Make up some new names.
I will bow out, but that's a great thing. And actually, I really like that idea. Unfortunately, Todd had no prep time. But
sure. Let's see if somebody can pull off a triple klutz. And of course, I'm definitely looking for somebody to throw a solid Pamchenko at the end.
Ooh,
no
Pamchenko.
question.
Are you familiar with the Pamchenko twist, Ryan?
Pamchenko twist, yeah. That's tough.
Yeah, no, I love that movie.
Okay, see, Ryan knows.
Yeah. No, I really do. D.B. Sweeney, man. It's one of those finest books ever.
There you go.
Ryan and my friend Duncan Endy once asked me, like, cutting edge, where does it rank relative to racing movies? And I've always said Days of Thunder.
Yeah,
like it's like, yeah, it's not real, but it's fun, and you just accept that it's kind of dumb fun, and you're enjoying it. What would you say, Todd?
I you know what? I actually have to agree with you on that one. That's a pretty good match.
Yeah.
It's definitely you're never going to see that happen in real life, but
you let it happen. But like you're not upset.
It's kind of
about
like okay, it works.
Right.
It's all right.
Yeah.
And of course, Blades of Glory is literally matched with Talladega Nights.
Yeah,
it's the same people, so you can't really argue that either. So.
Right.
These GTP cars have figured out to get a little bit closer here, so there is no gap like the first time through. And so far, it is not working out well for anybody.
Yeah, the guys who are completely like only one guy has figured out slow down. Oh, Aspen, is he going to make it? Oh, no, he didn't. Yes, he did.
No, he's back.
Aspen's through. There we go.
Now the 85 truck right there spinning on his lid was totally fine, and then he just gassed it too hard and rolled up on his side and got drilled. So he caused his own rollover without a GTP car. Like, that did not go well.
All right, Christian Abbott. Where is Christian? Christian's P16.
They're figuring it out now.
There we go. Christian figured it out. P16. He's got some time, but they're still all on the lead lap. And I'm looking at the radar. I don't know if you can see it, Ryan, but I definitely can imagine there'll be some yellows coming.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at it too because it's imaginary, and it looks like we definitely have some things possibly showing up on the horizon.
So somebody like Christian Abbott, as long as he can stay on the lead lap, he'll be fine.
Right. But yeah, Patrick Lindsay really putting on a pretty good display here, about a 3.5 second gap, and then it's big after that. And if you saw the first race, there was always a decent battle going on, but right now, pretty spread out field. And we're seeing these guys figure out some sort of loopholes with the jumps.
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing that, but a few of them have figured out how you can game the system. We were noticing this in the practice race that
they're just driving right over.
Yeah, there we go.
I think you have to move or something when that happens. If they start driving through you, make some adjustments if you're in that GTP class, because obviously you're not ramping them into the air.
Let's see what happens here. Oh, we got disconnected. Yeah. There's Santi again.
Oh, there we go.
Iglesias not having a great day.
Yeah, he's kind of not sure where he is, it looks like. He is a rally driver, so he's used to being a little bit, unnerved and upside down, but trying to get it going here. Looks like our buddy Carl Viertaler is doing a nice job running P7.
And so where's the battle? Oh, so actually the battle for 10th is not bad between Frisch and Hamilton. Is that an iRacing official pace truck livery? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's all right.
But he looks like he's 4 seconds up on Dustin Hamilton, so it was looking tight. It looks like he's gapped it a little bit. All right, well, let's go back to the jumps then. Let's see where we're at. There's Michael Frisch. It's a monster suit. Here we go.
I was going to say, was that... That was that a Rossi helmet and suit?
Alex Rossi?
No, Valentino.
Oh, I didn't see.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Interesting. So it seems like the mid-straightaway run, where these guys are already getting quite a bit of speed,
right,
is makes a problem. Oh, there's your Bigfoot.
Yeah, we got a Bigfoot truck passing a Cars Lightning McQueen on the brakes here into turn 5, and not getting it done. Lightning McQueen coming back, a little of that Kachu action on the side there, and we see the Continental truck. Jacob Campbell is that Patrick Lindsay? Was he taking the lead away? I think he was.
I think it was. Yeah, that was for the lead.
Yeah,
now again,
taking place.
The win isn't necessarily the biggest part of this deal as much as finishing in the top 10 to advance the next week, but it is something. All right, well, speaking of Bigfoot trucks, so Todd, you have a son, Ayrton, who is sounds like he's slowly starting to pick up the racing bug because of his dad.
Yeah, he definitely is. He asks all the time. He's like, "Can I get on, Dad? Can I get on? Can I do some racing tonight?" I'm like, "Sure." And actually, he's pretty good. He does a little better than I do.
You're about to say give it within a year, he'll absolutely be better. That's just part of it. But have you taken him? Have you taken him to a monster truck race?
We haven't yet, unfortunately.
Okay.
Actually, there was one that was going to be here in Anaheim just before this whole thing shut down and everything. And so we didn't get a chance to go. That is amazing. We didn't get a chance to go, but we will for sure. We will for sure. He's seen it on TV, so he knows a little bit about what it's all about. So he's pretty pumped about going and checking it out.
All right, who's this guy so far? Does he have like a driver that he always roots for?
Not really. I mean, he's into the superheroes and stuff like that. So like Batman and that kind of stuff. But He doesn't have a specific car that he
driver. Sure.
He's not like a gravedigger guy or the.
Right.
Sure.
He will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He will be. He will be. Yeah, he can't not be, right?
Exactly, right? And Dennis Anderson, the whole Anderson family. So
Yeah.
looks like we had Patrick Lindsay, who was pretty commanding with the lead early on, has fallen back to P3, and twice now we've seen him on his roof and getting help to get back over. So
Oh, no.
things changing at the front of the race. But the big thing is that he and Jeff Sykes, we have Campbell and Sykes 1 and 2 with an 18-second, almost 20-second lead now over third place. So this thing's blown out quite a bit.
It is, and it's weird. It's sketchy because with that kind of a lead, you would hate for a yellow to come out.
Yeah, exactly right.
How's the weather where you are, Todd?
It's fantastic. Southern California.
That's not
sunny,
the right
nice.
answer. That's not the right answer, Todd.
How's the weather where you are, Todd?
Yeah.
It's cold. It's icy.
It's
I
perfect.
I see bad things coming.
You've had competitions in Detroit, right?
Actually, yeah, I lived in Detroit for about 17 years.
Oh
so,
my God! How'd you do that? I mean, it's lovely. What part?
I lived up north in Rochester and Bloomfield Hills area.
Okay, then you didn't live in Detroit.
Yeah.
Well, no, I didn't live downtown Detroit. I think in the 17 years I went to downtown Detroit, one for the race
for
when
this,
when they first got it going again,
Yeah.
and probably about 5 other times just to go to the auto show and then get out of there.
Perfect. Okay, so in your experience, has Detroit ever rained?
Has it ever rained?
Yes, really badly?
Yeah, it rains all the time, every afternoon.
Oh, then it's almost
In
like
the
we have to go
summertime.
yellow in case it rains, just in case, out of
yeah.
safety.
Yeah,
it
for
looks
sure.
like there's
clouds
are forming.
I think he already threw a yellow like minutes ago. He's like, "Will you just get on with it?"
Like, guys, I get the bit. It's yellow.
All right, it's yellow. The sun is setting. So this session started a couple hours later than the last session, apparently, as far as time of day. And so we'll see how dark it gets by the end. It might get pretty bad. We'll find out. All right, but it's yellow. So that big lead that Jacob Campbell was working on is going to go away. People that are a lap down will probably get a chance to catch back up. So it's still anybody's guess.
Yeah, he and Jeff Sykes had a pretty sizable lead over the field there, so hopefully they save some stuff for when we get going back to it. But the good news is for the fans of the jumping and the demolition, that now the GTP cars can kind of really think about what they have going on and where they want to put themselves, because they're not constantly getting nailed by trucks at them. They're running around right now. So once they get back to going here, the first lap's pretty fun to watch, but then when they come around, these guys have no idea where those GTP cars end up, and that generally adds a little chaos.
Yeah, exactly.
It's perfect.
Now we do have we have Todd Eldredge here, who is a world-class figure skater and obviously massive racing fan. Our chat room is live. If you guys have any questions that you wanted to ask Todd, feel free and we'll fire them off to him. Kathy Hegman was with us earlier tonight. Sean, how'd that make you feel?
No different than normal.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was great. It was great having your mother watch. I was surprised that she's not known for watching a lot of the stuff that we do, so that's cool.
Okay.
Maybe it's because Todd was on. I don't know.
Last night, the NASCAR race was taking place, and Denny Hamlin got the win. It was shortened at the very end with the rain delay, and Denny Hamlin won. And I tweeted, the guy that blocked me on Twitter won the race. And a lot of people apparently in our racing league don't know that story, like Noah Wheeler, for example.
Okay.
Now, do you remember the exact story?
Me? Yes.
Yeah.
You want me to tell it? Go ahead.
So basically, I said, ask me tomorrow on Blunder, and it'll be a quick answer, as simple as that. So like 6 years ago now, it seems like Denny Hamlin tore his knee playing basketball because he loves basketball, and then 6 months later he did it again. It seemed like he was always tearing his knee up because he loves basketball so much.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just tweeted while I was sitting in the Monterey airport next to Brett Curtis going home from a World Challenge race. I tweeted #Denny DENKNEE, because he keeps tearing his knee up. #Denny Hamlin.
You were around Brett Curtis, the dad jokes just seep through.
Right. Yeah. I was like, look at this, Brett Curtis. And he was like, all right, let's get whiskey. Or so, I don't know.
Yeah.
He was
just, I'm Brett Curtis. I'm handsome and rich.
Yeah, I don't care about anything.
Right.
And basically that was it. The next time somebody tweeted me that somehow Denny Hamlin was tagged in, it's been blocked ever since. So that's the Denny Hamlin story. He apparently doesn't like wordplay with his name.
He's probably going through a round of block. He probably has 1,000 blocks a weekend.
Right.
And he's like, I don't know what that is, block. I don't know what that is, block.
Yeah.
So it's
fun. #Denny Hamlin. But we do have a question for our guest of honor here. Todd, how much skating do you still do?
Not much at all, actually. I had a hip replacement about 8 years ago, and so my doctor is like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do too much of that anymore. Just stick to coaching, stick to doing your thing, and that's about it. So I haven't really done much. I do a little bit here and there just because it gets kind of boring not doing anything. But yeah, I just been pretty much stuck with coaching and doing that, and it's fun. It's enjoyable.
So just like racing, obviously coaching becomes a source of income for both ex-skaters and ex-racers.
Absolutely.
The biggest difference to me is outside of competitions. So for basically like 8 months of the year, you more or less get to stay at home, correct?
Nowadays, yes.
Okay.
I mean, when I was on the road and touring, doing competitions and shows and stuff like that, I mean, I would be on the road quite a bit. I mean, when I turned professional and stopped competing and went on Stars on Ice tour and stuff like that, I would be literally on the road from, about middle of October until maybe end of April, something like that, doing 60, 75 shows across the U.S., Canada, Japan.
Right.
So it was a busy, hectic time.
But if God forbid Ryan's career as a pro driver were to stop and he was exclusively coaching, Ryan would still have to travel nearly every weekend to Ferrari Challenge and club races and IMSA stuff or whatever. Whereas in your case, the couple of skaters that are at a very competitive level, you have to go to their competitions, but that's probably in a much narrower window of time.
I mean, this season's October to March, basically end of March, and you're really only probably doing, depending on how many top level skaters you're coaching. I mean, you're probably only going to maybe 5-6 competitions every year,
right?
Something like that.
Fair.
Yeah, it's not too crazy.
One of our questions from the chat room is, what was your favorite place you got to visit for skating?
Oof. I loved Australia, actually. I went there way long time ago for Junior World Championships, and it was fun because we did a long trip. We stopped in Hawaii on the way, and then Sydney for a night on the way to Brisbane. Spent a week there, did the whole Australia thing, koala bears, the zoo parks and all that stuff, and then on the way back stopped in Hawaii again. So what's wrong with that? And then, it was awesome. The people there are super nice, super friendly, and it was just a great competition.
So we're getting ready to go back to green here, but one question that came up twice now is, how did you get involved with Dinner with Racers Thursday Night Blunder?
Well, as you guys know, we were gonna do a little Dinner with Racers chat and all that stuff, and then one thing led to another. It didn't quite happen, but you guys contacted me before this whole thing started, and it said, hey, would you like to be a part of this crazy race thing going on and stuff? I said, yep, absolutely.
Absolutely. And the podcast will still happen. We'll probably hold on to that until we get closer to Olympic time, which, assuming winter-wise, it'll still be on board in a couple of years. But especially now that you're more local, it'll be that much easier for us since you're down in Southern California now.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, lights are off. We're about to go green. We will see what happens here. Any expectations on your end, Todd?
I just want to see lots of air.
Okay.
I want to see a few guys in the fence.
Okay. So if you're decreeing to the ramps what's going to get them advanced to the final to compete against you next week, airtime, going in the fence, those are some of the key ingredients, or being
a couple of big ones there. I mean, they're going to get some big scores from me if they send somebody over the fence. For sure.
Somebody can send somebody over the fence. That's going to get close to 6.0 for you.
Yeah. You can definitely persuade the Russian judge or the French judge to make some shady scenarios. And
even skaters make the dumb, easy, low-hanging fruit joke with Russian and French skaters judges. I'm proud of it. Good job.
What's that? The French are really bad at sport. Never mind. So
Never mind.
We got the restart here, going down into turn 3. Looks like great battle for the top 15 cars together.
Wow, here we go.
Yeah,
so normally on these oh wow.
Yeah.
Normally on these restarts, you don't need the ramps. There's usually a pretty good stack up. Here we go. Is this where it starts? These guys are way too clean.
They're doing a good job through that grass and shortcutting the track. I'm liking what I'm seeing, but again, they have no idea where these GTP cars are going to be as we get closer to the...
Oh, there we go. Finally.
Yep, there it is.
Took half a lap. Is that a Dinner with Racers logo on his floor? That's cool. I'm surprised it took him that long, to be honest. Because, Todd, you've run in most of these races, and you seem to always get stuck in that mid-pack group.
You're absolutely right.
I
totally do.
How many laps? Like, what would you say is the most number of laps you've consistently done without ending up in a wall somewhere?
Oh gosh, I think the last race that I did. I mean, I think I can't remember. It was something like 90 or 100 some incidents I had on my thing. So I don't even think I got a clean lap in that race for sure.
Perfect. All right. All right. Oh, somebody's on the roof. Who's that? Is that Matt Murphy?
Definitely one of our Continental
Yeah,
trucks. He's got it going, though. But if you're going to rolling under the Continental Bridge into a Continental banner, great for publicity.
Absolutely. That's worth nothing, but it is still pretty cool. All right, so Mike Murphy currently at the cutoff with P10, but obviously 20 minutes in, there's still a lot to play for. Tanner Whitten has already gapped everybody by 4 seconds, so Tanner's in good shape. But as we learned in the final lap in the last race, man, there are no guarantees until you get to that very, very final corner.
So we have a question for Todd from the chat room. Is there a skating equivalent to the driver excuses for being too slow?
Ooh, I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, for sure. Your sharpenings, the ice conditions, all that kind of stuff. Your hair falling out. Not per se me, because this doesn't. Well, I guess it falls out now, but costume malfunctions, all kinds of stuff like that for sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
Just like in racing, blame the equipment.
Yeah,
blame the track.
Absolutely. Oh, mutt cuts almost went around there.
Oh no, there we go. Did he help him out? Did he? No, he's still.
Well, he cleared him out. That's for sure.
We don't have to hear names, but I want to hear names. Who, like in racing, we know there's a handful of folks that we know are the people that are going to always have a reason that they didn't do well. Is that true in skating as well? Like, it's this one dude or this one couple that are always the problem?
Not really. I mean, it probably is.
Is that
but,
you being politically
sometimes
correct?
I don't necessarily hear it always, but
okay.
There's some guys that always had kind of like, my skates were all broken down, and there's that kind of thing. But
was it you, Todd Eldredge? Was it you,
Todd
Todd
Eldredge?
Eldredge?
Was it me? No.
Was it you? If you don't know who it was, chances are.
Not usually, no.
All right, fair. No. All right. Well, okay. So you're a big racing fan. It sounds like you've been for a while. Do you have one thing that I think Ryan and I both learned, even though we've worked in the sport, because with our podcast, we've now gotten to know a lot of people in a lot of different disciplines where maybe we wouldn't have prior. So I can't speak for you, Ryan, but I know that I kind of don't root for a specific person as much as I used to anymore, because there's so many people now that I root for. Like, I don't have a guy. Is that true in the skating world too?
Kind of. I mean, it's one of those things, like you say. You myself personally, being outside of the sport for a little while, as far as competitively, I don't really know a lot of the younger kids that are coming up now. So you don't get a chance to meet them, but sometimes you either interact or you see them, and
right.
You may have a different opinion about them than you thought you had.
Sure.
But it's definitely been interesting to I guess learn some of the new kids and some of the new faces that are out there and right. watch what's going on. There's some pretty amazing skating going on these days.
Yeah.
The stuff that these guys do, it's pretty incredible.
Well, they're also all like 17, so they haven't really formed eccentric personalities. It's hard to really judge.
At 22, you're like old nowadays. It's crazy. Like if you're 24, 25, you're considered grandpa, and that's it.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
So yeah,
and the one thing I would say about personalities in racing versus skating is racing is a very tight community, but skating's an even tighter community. And a lot of times skaters, that's all they do every day. They don't go to. A lot of them are homeschooled and spend 12 hours a day at a rig.
Yeah.
So you maybe don't get that personality growth that you would by going to public school, by traveling the country with a bunch of mechanics and whatnot that teach you how to be an asshole. So I don't know that you necessarily get the characters, and I think that's actually one of the things that's difficult with skating now, that with the kind of people that it rewards, it as a result makes it more favorable to 16-year-olds.
Well, and you look at drivers too. Drivers are all going to be, I'll say, 18 and much older. Half of these girls are 13, 14, 15, 16 years old.
Right.
And some of the guys too. You're just in a different world, in a whole different place in your life. So a lot of the things that may come up in conversation within a pit crew is going to be very different than what comes up in the locker room with a bunch of 13, 14-year-old
Yeah,
girls.
exactly. That life experience isn't necessarily there for inappropriate humor. Might have been one of my problems in my skating life. So,
Oh, weird.
yeah, who knew?
So Noah Wheeler writes in wondering, Todd, which of these races has been your favorite to participate in?
Oh my gosh. I actually have to say the last race, even though as ridiculous as it was and as crazy as it was going around the track in the dark.
Right.
I have to say, in of course, driving in the car, not being able to see or have any clue where the Indy cars were coming from was the most frightening thing ever. Because all of a sudden they're just, boom, a car appears and just flying by you. And just,
Right.
It was amazing. It was fun, though. I had a blast with it.
Oh, what happened?
It's night.
I don't know what just
And it's
happened.
dark.
All right,
Wow,
we
it
might
did
need
get
to-
dark.
It did. I don't know
Sun
what
went
just
down.
happened. We've lost the feed. Maybe we need to change cameras. We might need to switch to somebody else. I don't know what happened. There we go.
Mud cuts, no!
Did Aspen block
No,
out?
there you go.
There we go.
Be still my heart.
Yeah.
All right. So your son has an interest in racing. Does he have an interest in skating? And are you aware of just how expensive this life is going to get?
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, he likes skating. It's not his main thing. He talks about hockey a bit.
Okay.
He hasn't really kind of latched on to any one specific thing. He just likes a little bit of everything. So we'll see where that goes. But yes, I mean, both skating and racing, they're not inexpensive endeavors to get involved in.
I honestly couldn't tell you which is more expensive because they're both pretty bad at the top level.
Yeah.
So good times. What does mom want?
She doesn't care. She's good with either.
So if
whatever.
he gets in a go-kart, she'll be fine with it?
I think both of us were we would push him more towards racing or soccer or hockey or something other than
Soccer is cheaper.
Figure skating. Yeah, soccer.
I would go
Here's a ball,
soccer.
Here's some shin pads. Go, kid.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the comments from the chat room is that the fans feel like the GTP cars might be a little bit nicer this race and not as working together to make trouble for the trucks.
Well, yeah, they gotta get. I haven't seen some serious air.
Well, we have 14
It's been a little
minutes.
bit, but a lot of it's been the guys in the trucks just crashing.
Yeah,
into each
They
other.
don't need them. Yeah. Oh, here we go. We got two
I
guys
will
working
say,
together. Go ahead.
yeah, the battle around like 6th to 10th is actually pretty good. I mean, it might have just changed right there, but it's actually been pretty good. So I'm excited about who's going to make the cutoff because these guys are all running together. But I agree with the chat room. I haven't seen as much teamwork from the GTP cars this time.
Well, there's about 13 and a half minutes to go. And I think it's very possible we could see a yellow come out in the next minute or two, depending on the. I don't know what the radar is looking like from what you're looking at, Todd.
I see some more thunderclouds.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, I said they're growing. They're getting bigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, you spent a lot of time in Detroit, so you probably have a sense for when rain is about to hit.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well,
again, it's every day about 3 o'clock.
Okay.
I'm not sure. sometimes it can go into the night, like it's happening now.
Okay, so we'll check back in a minute, and we'll make some final calls. But it looks like Tanner Witten, they may have to refuel. This may be routine stop. I don't actually know.
Yeah, that's
a
strange
great
to
pit
see him
crew,
on
though.
pit lane with the damage turned off.
It might be fuel.
Yeah. But did anybody else stop for fuel in the
I
first race?
don't know. I don't remember. So who knows?
Maybe
he had
he
a
started
penalty.
light, try to get a competitive edge.
Possible, or he had some sort of penalty that he ignored. Who knows?
Yeah, but interesting to point out, Patrick Lindsay has made his way back up front after being on his roof a handful of times here. So the Trading Paints superstar that he is finding his way back towards the sharp end of the stick. But we're definitely looking at HOH there in 8th and Brett
Come on, guys,
Pancari,
get
Aspen
together.
Belgium.
You're too far apart.
Yeah, that's just a chicane at that point.
Yeah.
Here goes Clifton Naranjo. Let's see if he gets caught in it.
Yeah, he's got a good-looking truck this week. He's generally has a pretty good-looking
Let's see how
car.
he does. Let's see how he does.
They need to move right up on that corner.
There.
Does he?
Okay.
Yeah, he's fine. Okay, but at least they're blocking the whole straight.
Right,
It's
right.
Gonna, so, all right, well, let's go back to the GTPs for a second. There we go.
I'd like to see those guys move up just as they come around the corner. Just a wall of GTPs would be perfect.
I like the flashing headlights just to be a dick about it.
Yeah, well, to make him nervous.
Oh boy, the Hot Wheels truck going the wrong way. It's good.
So racers will use flashers to try and get in each other's heads. Is there a skating equivalent for you? Were you? Did you ever show up and you're like Browning?
Sometimes, like on a warm up or on practice, they'll just they know where your patterns are, where you're going to do your jumps. Sometimes they'll just conveniently be standing really close to where you would normally do your jump.
Ooh, give me dirt. Who?
I've seen that happen back in the day.
Name names.
I can't divulge names. Can't do that.
Fair enough. How's the weather, Todd?
These clouds are pretty brutal.
Really? So do you think it's going to rain?
I see. Oh, there's lightning.
Oh, there's lightning. There's lightning. You have to go yellow. That's
you got to go yellow for lightning.
Yeah.
Everybody but Lance Snyder and Chris Bucola. We have to protect them. They're corner workers. We got to keep their lives, safe here. Except those two.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So full course caution has come out here. Go
ahead.
That GTP class, I'm sure, is going to take a little bit of a hint from Mr. Todd Eldredge and try to work on getting some big air and getting a little bit tougher in the corners. As you see, those guys are flipping around. They're going to go find another place to sit there, and hopefully we get some chaos. But just about 10 minutes left in the race, and actually the last ending of the first race was pretty good too, so I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, I see no reason to think that it won't be the exact same stakes here. And if you're just tuning in now, our first race that we ran about an hour ago came down to not only the last corner, it came down to the last 2 feet.
The last car that crossed, I mean, I'm not sure if he had to have had it floored when he hit that ramp, and he knew that he had to have it floored in order to clear enough distance to get there from the ramp to the start-finish line.
Absolutely.
He was flying.
See Carl Viotaler having a tough time here under yellow. He is 4 laps down in his Rutledge Wood Tribute Fundra, so it's not the end of the world for him. But having a rough go here under yellow.
That is a solid truck right there.
There you go. And have you met Rutledge? I don't know that you guys would have crossed paths in your TV times, Todd.
No, unfortunately, it's funny because I messaged him because he's got a new show coming out on Netflix. There's Floor's Lava thing, whatever.
Yes, sir.
And of course, my son loves that, so I commented on it, whatever. But
Perfect.
yeah, we've never unfortunately crossed paths.
All right. Well, what the heck, man?
Oh no, that's our. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chris Knisley, who's a series regular and always comes with a good livery. This weekend he shows up with a picture of you doing the Cinnamon Challenge.
Cinnamon Challenge. That was our season 1 promo video where we had a red camera and we're like, let's shoot everything in slow-mo.
Right.
And I'd heard of the Cinnamon Challenge. I didn't quite know what it was. And how many takes of that shot did we have, Ryan?
You did three Cinnamon Challenges in under 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And the only reason it took 20 minutes to do them, because you were like, all right, let's get the shot every single time, was just like the recuperation time you needed because you couldn't stop coughing.
Yeah, it was very bad. And like I physically was sick. Remember how like I didn't have the flu or anything, but I physically had like flu symptoms because my body's like, I don't know what that was, but something's wrong. So let's just give him a fever.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you went now to get like the antibodies test for the Rona, they'd be like, nah, you're good. Nah, you're fine, man. You did 3 Cinnamon Challenges. For those that don't know the Cinnamon Challenge, you take a tablespoon of cinnamon and like a full tablespoon, and you have to try to swallow it.
Swallow it with no fluids or anything. Just swallow it dry.
No, nothing. And the first time, I think you moved out of frame was the problem.
Yeah.
Because you were coughing and hacking up.
Well,
so
and
like,
normally I'm the cameraman, so I can anticipate this. But basically, I preset the camera. And then it's you and our buddy Mikey doing camera work, which neither of you are experienced cameramen.
Right.
And so, go ahead.
Yeah, so you leaned forward out of the shot, and you're dying. Like, literally, what did I call you, a cinnamon dragon?
Yeah.
Because you're like blowing flames of cinnamon, just like coming out of you. And we're crying, laughing while it's happening because you're dying, but also looking at the screen, and it's like, we can't tell, because we're like, you're out of the frame, but you're literally like, you can't hear words.
Yeah, like
you're dying.
Everything has a tracer right now. I don't know where I am.
Yeah, and so then the second time we did it was the funniest part because you're like, okay, let's do this again. Your eyes are watering. You've got cinnamon all over you. You look miserable. And right as you take the scoop into your mouth, the camera dies.
The battery dies.
The battery dies right as you do the scoop. And we're like, spit it out! And you couldn't because it's already in there.
Yeah.
And it was like,
What's that? It's like the instant I swallowed, I saw the look on your face. And I was like, the battery's dead. Oh no! And that was that. And then we did a third one.
So we're like, all right, we got to do the third try here. And you're like, I know.
Anything for the shot.
And that's the photo that's on the hood of that truck.
Yeah. All right,
So-
lights are out. So this will be the final lap.
Well, while we're waiting to get these GTPs waved around and go green here, we had another shout out from a mom of Dinner with Racers. My mom, Jessica Eversley, reaches out this evening. She just finished listening to the Peter McKay Motorsports podcast that we did the other day.
Oh, nice.
And said she really enjoyed it.
Very
and if
lovely.
you don't know that we did that, it's available now on Peter McKay's Motorsports Podcast website and wherever he puts his stuff. But we also tweeted the link and put it up on Facebook. So go check it out if you haven't heard it yet. We do a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, kind of like the Cinnamon Challenge story, for example. So.
Yeah, because during the podcast, of course, we focus on our guests and our guest stories. So the Peter McKay one was an opportunity to tell some of our dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of dumb stuff, so Todd, it looks like you've picked up a few different racing leagues that you're involved in. Like you're doing some IndyCar stuff now. What are you enjoying right now on the iRacing?
Yeah, actually, that was a blast. I mean, just for me, obviously, just the concept of actually being on the same track, if you will, virtually.
Because you're doing like an IndyCar
some of
league?
these
Is that what
drivers, Tony Kanaan. I mean, our worlds would never cross, right?
Right.
So I mean, just to be on the same track doing that kind of stuff with those guys, it's pretty amazing. And I gotta say, I don't know, like, and I'm gonna go with I'm the excuse for the slow guy. I don't know how the heck these guys go so fast. Like I looked like I was standing still, and I had that thing pinned to the ground. I was like, "This is as fast as I can go. How are they going so much faster?" But that's why they're doing what they're doing, I guess, huh?
Within reason now. Do you follow sports cars very closely?
Yeah.
Okay, because we're going to give you a very key expression you can learn. It's always what, Ryan?
The BOP.
The BOP.
Yeah.
The balance of performance. So even if it's all Indy cars, the BOP was not in your favor.
There you go. Okay.
So, yeah, like they put too much weight on your car or the air restrictor or who knows what, but it definitely wasn't your fault.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, I'm in with that. BOP.
Good. BOP.
I'll use that with my students too, and we'll come up with something.
Absolutely.
Your blades were not gliding as well as the other people because they added something to them, and
that's a backstory we're not going to get into for a dumb virtual racing thing. But actually, some of the changes that figure skating made about 10, 15 years ago with the scoring is a result of people constantly complaining that the system was too arbitrary. And
correct.
And go ahead.
And the scandal, of course, of
right.
The judges colluding and doing the whole bit and whatever. But so I mean, they revamped the whole thing. It's just so much more confusing. That's all it is.
That's what the allegory I always like to make is that skating changed how they did it in a way. Being an older guy, I'm like I miss skating the way it used to be, but because and even before the big scandal, there was every 2 years there was a scandal. There was somebody on second saying they should have been first, and so eventually skating had to go, forget it, we can't have this anymore. We have to make this point system that's even more confusing, and skating's numbers aren't where they used to be.
Not even close.
Exactly.
And it's funny because the scoring system, even if you're in the sport, is super confusing.
Right.
So I mean, to the lay person who's just watching it once a week or whenever it's on, is totally lost. They're just like, okay, I don't get it, but whatever.
And this is the lesson that, unfortunately, there's very few people that know about skating and racing, but this is the lesson that I really think sports car racing and kind of the sport as a whole kind of needs to look at, is that skating took a big hit when they tried to make a more fair system.
Weird.
Because effectively they ended up neutering it. And as a result, you now have nothing but 17-year-olds who don't quite have personalities because they can't last long enough, because with the technicalities of it now, you can't be 30 in skating.
Yeah. Oh, God, no. I mean, if you see anybody at 30 still competing, I mean, it would be a miracle, to be honest with you.
All right. So I'm actually really enjoying this side of learning about skating, but we are down to like 2 minutes to go here. So I'd really like to see a camera on Frisch or Collingston or Justin Parcher, 9th, 10th, and 11th, because the cutoff battle back there's a bunch of trucks within a second of each other.
Yeah, and here are the GTPs right there. I don't know what turn that is.
12? Come on, guys.
Yeah, so here comes, this is basically the battle for the 10th right here.
So that's Jeffrey Collinson. Go ahead.
Yeah, any of these jumps go wrong, and this is, this is it.
Here we go. Here's the first one. And where's Collinson? He got through it, but a bunch of guys didn't, so that'll change who's in the top 10.
Oh, our pace truck's going to get hung there on the fence. Gone.
Oh, no, who's that? That's Clifton Naranjo, who was P2 this whole time.
Oh, wow, he's falling back to P4, and trucks are still coming by.
Yeah, we've got the same start line stack up.
Yeah, smart move by the GTP trucks.
The GTPs are right back to where we did our first race, so this should make it, oh gosh, this should make it interesting.
That was the greatest way I've ever seen somebody cross the start-finish line. If he could just drive away.
Oh,
Tony Stewart,
Matt Kikis.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Oh, no. All right, so Justin Parcher is now in 10th. Jeffrey Collinson moved up to 9th. Clifton Naranjo now on the losing side of this deal. He was P2 and P3 the whole time.
Our leader, Tanner Witten, out to a big lead. We don't really care about that as much as we care about the cutoff parts of this, as we see the Chris Nisley truck that has you being a Cinnamon Dragon on the roof going a little bit wonky there in turn 3, but getting it back going now, chasing down Daniel Vaught.
Here we go. So Chris Nisley, what is he? He's P11. So, yeah, that's P10 right in front of him. So that's for everything.
Yeah, both of them barreling into the corner like they've never driven before, so that looked horrible. But it looks like Nisley's going to get the position as they come onto the back straightaway. Massive understeer, because, Sean, if the truck's not turning, it makes sense to turn the wheel more,
just
right?
Turn harder.
Right.
Just try harder,
It'll
push
go.
harder.
It'll go at some point.
It's like my life with the ladies.
Just keep trying harder.
Yep.
Yeah. Good run here from Dan Vaught as they go to the brakes. Nisley deep on the brakes. Last of the late breakers, but he's going to overshoot a little bit. You could use that cut through. Oh, wow.
No. Wow.
The old crash through the apex wall, flip the guy next to
still
him.
going.
That was perfect. Well, that's how you handle it. Now, these jumps could change everything, though. Checkered flag is out, so we are on the final lap for everybody.
Yeah, Tanner Witten, did he just go out of the park right there?
Good time to pit.
I think is he going to try and finish in pit lane?
Oh, cool move if you make it.
I don't know if he made it, though. I don't know how that
we
works.
We need a GTP in pit lane. There he is.
Where we go? There we go. All right.
Okay,
Tanner
so here we
Witten's going to finish in the lead. All right. The big question is,
made it.
Vaught, where's Vaught going to finish? Is Pancari going to cross it? Oh, gosh, we have a whole bunch of people not making it.
Oh, that looks like Vaught right there.
Made it,
He's upside down.
He's upside down. Who's that?
Is that Nisley? Nisley comes through?
Nisley got it. Nisley's in it.
Nisley's 8th, though. There's 2 more spots here.
Here comes Christian Abbott. Christian Abbott's next.
A lot of these guys are for position. They're upside down right now. They got to get figured out.
They can't do anything, so who's still running?
Whoever this is.
Is that? I think that's Christian Abbott right there. They're all trying to floor it. Did anybody cross? Oh, Kleinhagen.
Lightning McQueen.
Kleinhagen and Abbott, they both did it by flooring it. Right there. Kleinhagen did it by rolling.
David Lindhagen and Lightning McQueen came through there. Christian Abbott
put it in reverse, and he took the final spot.
Wow.
As soon as Christian Abbott felt the fourth wheel go down, he put it in reverse, backed it right in.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
That was awesome. He was on his roof the whole time.
That is how you do it. Wow. So Charles Kleinhagen, smart enough to just say, I'm going to mat it. We'll see how this goes. And it worked.
I don't know if I'd say smart enough, but brave enough.
There you go.
All right. So here's Kleinhagen right here. It looks like we lost connection to most of the cars, so I don't know that it's really going to translate. That's too bad.
Yeah. But Tanner Witten with the power move, knows he's going to win, knows he's going to keep the lead, just goes right through pit lane.
Interesting. And I think it worked. I don't think he got a penalty for that. So
no, he got the win according to the scoring. So that went really well.
Yeah, that's why we run the races. All right,
it is what it is.
Let's take a look at the running order here, and we'll determine who finished where. But I believe Kleinhagen with P9 and Christian Abbott with P10. So Tanner Witten with the win. Benjamin Morton taking P2, HOH, Hunter Olsen Hodges P3, Mike Murphy P4, Matt Murphy, and we've lost our screen. Let's bring that back. There we go. Aspen Belvin P5. So Muttgut's still gonna make it. Brett Pancari, Jeffrey Collinson, Chris Nisley, David Lindhagen, and Christian Abbott in P10. Poor Pat Lindsay didn't make it.
Wow, man! After having such a commanding lead at the beginning, got that yellow, it brought him back to the field. Then he ended up on his roof, got back to the lead, all to be 11th.
Exactly.
Out of 10.
And Clifton Naranjo, who's been like our specialist this entire series, he's been like our hour 3 guy. Every hour 3, every third race we've run this entire Thursday Night Blunder, Clifton has shown up, basically walked away with the race. He's won like 100 of these things.
Yeah.
But he looks like he will finish P18.
Wow.
And will not
Tough
advance
break.
to the world final.
Yeah, shout out to HOH, Hunter Olson Hodges. He was 8th with like 6 laps to go and managed to make his way up onto the podium there. So great job for that young man from out there in the Austin, Texas area.
That's fantastic. All right, well, Todd Eldredge, I know it's tough to really know who's what, but what did you like with the ramps there? I don't know if there is a winner you can pick.
Oh, it's hard because it's hard to see the numbers, but I like the way they grouped it together there for the finish.
Okay.
You know, they got like 2 sets of ramps going in the whole bit. That was fantastic.
Okay, so here's what we'll do. We'll was it Jacob Campbell, I believe, was selected as our race 1 transfer by Rutledge. And so I think what we'll do is Tyler, we don't have to worry about it right now, but Tyler, our admin, who's been kind of orchestrating a lot of the ramps, will get his thoughts on who helped line it up there at the end. And then we'll take a look at that, and we'll advance either as many people as we can or kind of go from there. How's that work?
That sounds perfect.
Perfect. Ryan, what do you think?
I thought it went so well. Major hats off to our admins for clearing all the black flags. Obviously, Marco, who's been such a great component of Dinner with Racers with all the iRacing stuff we've done. And our guests, Rutledge Wood and Todd Eldredge, killed it. Both of them knew exactly what we wanted, and it was a lot of fun. But, Sean, I want to give you a shout-out here because this was really something you put a lot of time in figuring out what was going to be the best ramp. You got a couple people to help you out with that. And like I said earlier on Twitter, we are the first people to put ramps on iRacing.
There you
so
go.
Great job.
Innovators, disruptors, and on that level, special shout out to, I don't want to name everybody because then I'll leave somebody out. But there were about a dozen folks within this league and special friends out in Germany who helped kind of figure this out with us. And because we ran 3 separate tests.
Yeah.
We tried out like the Ford Falcon V8 car. We tried like the old Dallara Indy car. We went through we had 3 different tests, cycling through all kinds of ramp options and what car was going to work the best, and that's where we ended up here. It's why I laugh when on Twitter somebody's like, well, what about this? And you're like, you have no idea what we did to get here.
First thing this morning on Facebook when I posted the link, people were like, no, what they need to do is, and it's somebody that I know doesn't do any sim racing, and immediately someone else called them out and was like, no, they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Speaking of Twitter, would if 17-year-old Todd Eldredge had Twitter, would your career be different? You don't strike me as a controversy guy.
Not really.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a big controversy guy. I just kind of do your thing, but
we got to work on this. We got to
who
get
knows?
some inappropriate
Maybe.
jokes. All right. Is there?
Maybe I might have been.
Do you have any?
I might have had a different picture of the world back then.
Do you ever watch stand-up specials? I'm trying to figure this out. Any stand-ups you like?
Stand-ups? Oh my gosh. Yeah, we got Louis C.K. is always a hilarious one. Russell Peters is great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You'd probably be okay with our car
We
rides.
usually and oh god, it just escaped my head. Jim Gaffigan is amazing.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, Jim Gaffigan makes sense, especially if you're a dad.
Yeah. Well, it's clean, right?
Yeah, you can watch that with your kids. I
Right.
wouldn't tell Louis C.K. stories in front of your kids.
Not so much.
Especially
All right.
career paths.
All right.
Go on, Ryan.
I was just going to say thanks to our fans who watched this all year long. We've had so many supportive fans, and our competitors' deliveries have been great, but also seeing the same names in the chat room and like commenting on social media that aren't racing, but they're tuning in to watch. We really appreciate that. And then the biggest thing that we appreciate is the support for our sponsors, because nobody asked us to do this. This is something Sean and I wanted to do, and our partners have been really cool about letting us play around and be fun. So when you guys tag Continental, Acura, and Valvoline, it really does help us a lot, and we appreciate it. And apparently we've already sold a dozen of those t-shirts for the Thursday Night Blunder. So feel free to order one of those if you want. We're going to donate the proceeds from our end to a charity that we'll decide on soon, but we appreciate it. And those are shirts for you guys because this was your series, so we appreciate it.
Exactly. So it's like 5 a.m. where Marco is, so we should let him go. But just a reminder, we won't have time for race winners and whatnot tonight, and that wasn't what tonight was all about. Tonight was just getting our top folks for next week's final. So congratulations to the top 10 in the last 2 races. They will advance to the world final. We will have several pros in as well, including pro athlete, Todd Eldredge, and then a handful of other folks that we're going to put together that you've probably seen over the last several weeks. And then on Tuesday, we will also have a last chance race for everyone that did not make the final. There will be a race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway where you'll still get a chance to advance. So there's still plenty of racing to come next week. And then finally, Ryan and I can stop doing this and go back to our regular jobs.
Yeah, Sean, we had a question if there's going to be another season. And I think the thing to make sure people understand is that we did this because of the shutdown for COVIDs and all of that, give you guys something to focus on and watch because we can't be making the content we want to make. But we did have an iRacing League last year, and we will probably continue to do something like that, but it will not be as frequent as this because hopefully all of us are going to be going to real races soon, and that'll be a lot more fun.
Exactly. And we've got some stuff coming up in June that we're working on, and so we're about to get pretty busy. We will have something. We don't know what it'll be, but it certainly won't be every week.
Yeah, so
all right.
Awesome.
Well, on that note, thank you, Todd.
Thank you,
Rutledge.
guys.
Awesome job, Rutledge. Thanks to all the fans, drivers. Ryan, any final things?